is Bell Brothers.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's happening for the Chryslers Wrap Up the Year sales event?
This month, you can save up to $16,500 off MSRP on 2023 Ram 1500 crew cabs. With over 600 new Ram trucks available, your perfect new truck is waiting for you at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. Plus, no payments for 90 days.
And what about those brand new Dodge Hornets everyone's talking about?
This month, you can lease a new 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid for only $199 a month for 27 months. That's over $5,500 in total savings.
Now's the best time to get the vehicle you need at Hoblet. Search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
16,500 total net savings after 10,261 factory rebates and 6,239 dealer discount. Sample VIN 699,991. Rebates include 1,000 case equipment cash, must purchase qualifying case equipment from authorized dealer, and 500 first responder cash for members of eligible first responder association only. No payment for 90 days on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 5,500 total net savings after 2,000 factory rebates and 3,500 dealer discount. 27-month lease with 3,995 due at signing plus tax and license fees on approved credit through Ally Financial. 7,500 max miles per year, 25 cents per mile for excess miles. 20 of each net savings.
Don't you just love this time of year and the holidays when families get together to make memories? Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. From the time I was a youngster, the family table was always filled with a gathering of grandparents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters. Those are memories that will live with me forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings Holiday Home Sale going on right now gives you the opportunity to find the perfect holiday gift that will last a lifetime. You'll find unique gifts like gleaming accessories for every room, now 20% off. During Naturewood's Holiday Home Sale, you'll find savings all around the store for every room in your home. Find your perfect bit of Christmas for your home at Naturewood Home Furnishings Holiday Home Sale going on right now. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Celebrating over a century as a family-owned business, E.B. Stone has gathered invaluable insights into nurturing plant growth. Venture into indoor planting with E.B. Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil. Watch your little plants flourish into ideal indoor companions for the whole family to relish during the holidays. E.B. Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is a meticulously crafted blend of essential ingredients. Your plants will thrive both indoors and outdoors. Trust E.B. Stone for the entire lifespan of your garden. Explore more gardening tips, products, and find nearby locations at ebstone.org. Wishing you a season filled with joy and flourishing greenery.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drape on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drape.
Yeah, the Kings are back at the Golden One Center to tip off a 6-game homestand tonight. And the Drive Guys are back together. Kyle Draper is back. Great to have you back, Kyle. Hope you're feeling better. Can we confirm? Jay suggested while you were gone that you had some kind of eagle-related bird flu. Is that confirmed? Hashtag confirmed?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We haven't lost 2 straight games in a long time. So it was a weird feeling. I didn't know how to feel. And so I had to take a couple of days, get myself together. But now I'm back, ready to beat the Seahawks on Monday night. So all is good.
Good. Yeah.
we don't have 3-game losing streaks like other franchises,
Oh, the franchise that you mean just went into early, knocked you around a little bit, yeah.
First place franchise there, Whitey. Make sure we get that in.
You get with that, Jay. You roll with that. The Eagles are third right now, if I'm correct.
No, you guys are fifth. Yeah. Fifth. That'll be fifth. 1, 2,
not in the NFC.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's all right.
You're fifth.
They're trying to be a wild card team, right? I mean, that's cool. Wild card.
You know what's happening now. Niners fans are turning into Warriors fans. The arrogance. What have you done? When's the last time you guys won a championship? When's the last time you guys won a Super Bowl? You're not even in the same league right now. You're not even in the same.
Yeah, we're in the same league.
You guys did all
the NFC.
Steve Young.
Listen, Drapes, I know you're a little ill, and I know you're in 100%, brother. I see you about 87% right now. I can hear it in your voice. I can see it in your features of your eyes and your pupils. Let me get you right, brother. We're in the same league. We're in the NFC, actually. So we're not the same division.
Why are we talking about this today?
Why not?
It's a Thursday. We got a big Kings game.
A couple of days ago, Jay said he had some soup for you, okay? And then when he said that, Henry Turner said, never mind that, I got his money in my pocket.
You know what it is? I didn't see Jay Friday. We didn't see him Monday. He was off, so this is his first game.
Yeah.
Finally, the Niners are number one in the NFC, so he's giving it.
Yeah, he doesn't need me to say this, but he did a great job last couple of days.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he did a great job.
It's like something in for Jordan. You know what I mean? I'm sure he did an okay job, but it wasn't Jordan.
Did you just call? What was my guy name? What was his name? I forgot. Pete Myers.
Wow.
Hey, I can't even get the Tony Koo coach or Hodges or somebody.
I love you, Jay, man. I love you.
Hey, you know what I saw last night before we get back to the Kings? It was incredible. And I know this is one of Henry Turner's favorite players. If you get a chance, if you're a fan of the game going back a ways, we were just talking about Jordan. George Gervin, there's a documentary on NBA TV about ice. It's amazing. Yes. Okay. And Michael's very prominently displayed. But it's great if you're a fan of back then. And it's funny how, Henry used to play, talks about ice and how cool he was. And then in this documentary, you got Magic, and Jalen Rose, and Michael Cooper, and they're all talking about, he was so cool, right? These are NBA guys going, ice was so cool. It's a great documentary.
No, I got to check it out. And Iceman's probably one of the most forgotten superstars that there were in the game. I didn't know, and I need to go back and look at the documentary. He had a relationship with Marvin Gaye. I didn't know that. I saw that.
Close.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a huge Marvin Gaye fan. And so I love those kind of documentaries, sports documentaries. Didn't feel quite up to watching it last night, but I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it got to the end where he was done playing, and I thought, well, okay, that's all I really care about. But then what he did after the game, the problems he had after he left the game, then what he decided to do with his life and open academies, that was the best part of the whole thing. He's an incredible guy. So anyway, definitely recommend that.
Yeah, and I only saw a snippet where he talked about who inspired him, Dr. J, Connie Hawkins, and I'm a big fan of 70s NBA basketball, the ABA as well. And so a documentary like that not only gives you an insight into the Iceman, but it's also a history lesson too, and shed some light on what basketball was like back then. So I urge anybody that's a basketball fan to go check that out.
And it's also really interesting to go back to when he played in the 70s and the game was struggling. And you look at where we are tonight as we get ready for the Kings in this brand new arena against Oklahoma City. Didn't even have a team back then. It's incredible how much the game has grown and how much those guys had to do with that, even though they had no idea at the time where it was all going.
Yeah, and I know we're going to get into this a little later, the Draymond, the Giannis.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just how crazy the NBA is now in terms of it's a 24-hour news cycle with the association. There's always something. Clearly, you got the great basketball games but you got stuff in the tabloids, you got stuff on social media. Like the NBA is the gift that keeps on giving. If there's not one controversy or beef or scandal, just hold on, wait a day or two, there'll be something else for you to talk
Yeah,
about.
the Draymond stuff obviously was big news, but it wasn't surprising. The Giannis thing, when I found out about that, I was like, wait, what? What
I still don't know exactly what happened with Giannis and the Pacers in that game ball last night. I've looked at so much video. Like one guy, one piece of video shows the Bucks official taking the ball. Another piece of video shows the Pacers.
And Rick Carlisle says, it's okay, there's two balls. And Giannis says, yeah, but I don't know if I got the right one.
I think I got a newer one. It's the NBA, man. It's the gift that keeps on giving, man. These guys are not only they're personalities too,
yes,
man. And they're storylines that extend outside of basketball that I love.
Now, since we've last had the privilege of having you on the air, the Kings, of course, they won Monday, but then they had the tough loss against the Clippers. And I think the Kings come in tonight with a sense of optimism, and I think fan base feels optimism because they got the homestand, but also a little bit of unease because the loss to the Clippers was their 7th loss of 9. That was by double digits.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, the records where they were last year, a lot of positive signs, but they keep getting hammered on the road, especially in the back end of back-to-backs. And I think people are a little unsure of exactly what's going on there.
And I think they should be, right? Like when you look at, what this Kings team is, it's their 3rd 20-point loss of the season. All of them have come on the road. They have 4 20-point losses all of last season. And it happens in the NBA. I understand it. In fact, last year, I forget who I was talking to, but every team in the NBA suffered at least 1 20-point loss last season. So it happens. But to have 3 of them, in your first 20-point game,
right?
I mean, that's concerning. It's one thing to lose, by 2, by 5, by 7, but to get blown out. And what happened against the Clippers, we can't use back-to-back as an excuse because the Clippers were on a back-to-back as
had
well.
An advantage over them, if anything, because they're older.
They're older, right? And but watching that game, and this is what concerns me, and we talked about it a little bit on Monday, I think. When you look at the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard can beat you single-handedly. Paul George can beat you single-handedly. James Harden, even at his age right now and his stature, can beat you single-handedly. They have multiple guys that can take over a game. We rely a lot on our system.
Mm-hmm.
De'Aaron Fox can take over a game. But outside of that, it's more system-based. And when the system breaks down or a team defends the system, like we saw the other night, scoring only 99 points, what can you turn to? Our only guy that can rescue us on a night in and night out basis is De'Aaron Fox. Malik Monk has shown he could do it a little bit, but compared to some of these other teams like the Clippers, the offense bogs down, give it to Paul George, he'll get a bucket. The offense bogs down, give it to Kawhi, he'll get a bucket. And I think you need those kind of guys in today's NBA.
Did you just call Domas a system center? Game manager?
I did not say that. I don't think I said. All right, Cam Newton.
I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding. But I do think one of the keys to your point, one of the reasons they lost so badly to the Clippers is because, quite frankly, it does happen. But the Kings' best player had a really bad night. I mean, the Kings right now, when Fox doesn't have a good night, he had a bad night.
Right.
It's tough for them to win.
Right. But you would think we're at a point where this team would be able to overcome a bad night from De'Aaron Fox. You got a Keegan Murray. You got a Malik Monk. You got a Kevin Huerter. And what we're seeing, look at the games against the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Look at the games, we saw the other night against the Clippers. De'Aaron Fox, if he doesn't go for 25, 30, 35, right, we got trouble scoring, and it's not supposed to be that way in a Mike Brown offense. It's supposed to be an equal opportunity offense, but De'Aaron Fox, he's our only consistent, reliable guy. Malik Monk maybe second, Domantas Sabonis third, but Keegan's been up and down this season. Kevin Huerter, 3 straight games of, I think he scored 3 points over his last 3 games, something like that.
Now, you said he had a little injured finger last time we talked. Is that something going on there?
No, but that was earlier in the season.
Okay, yeah,
and
all right.
He busted out of that, and so I can't use that as an excuse. And the defense is one thing. What's concerning to me is offensively. This team hung its hat last season on offense, but too many times we've seen games where they go 7 of 40 from 3 or 12 of 45, whatever the percentage is. And that's concerning to me because no matter what, at least last year, you knew the offense was going to bring it. Now we're seeing too many times the offense struggling out there.
Yeah, and we're a good 20-plus games in now. So, some of the early sample size stuff no longer applies. Some of it does, but not nearly as much. And the fact of the matter is you got Thunder coming in tonight, not to get bogged down in numbers, but the Thunder, as I mentioned on the crossover, they're top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating. They're number 6 in both.
Yep.
The Kings offensive rating last year, they were one of the best offensive teams ever. Right now they're 14th, and defensive rating, they're 20th. And you got a long ways to go here, but clearly there are some things there that the Kings have to figure out if they want to get back to where they were last year.
Yeah, and we talk about building the championship, Whitey, and we look at the Denver Nuggets last season. Their defensive rating 15th. But they had a great offense. Like, you got to do one or the other, right? And last year we saw the Kings had an elite offense and a not so great defense. Right now they're middle of the pack on both ends, and that's not championship level basketball. And so they're still okay. When you look at the whole season and you look at the Western Conference, being 5th in the West, 13-9 on the year. But it just feels different. We were 13-9 last season, but it just feels different so far this year.
Yeah, and how much of that has to do with expectations? Also, when we come right back, could the Warriors actually be done? Could they be finished with Draymond Green? Drapes hasn't weighed in on the Draymond situation yet. We've got that coming up. We'll be right back to the Golden One Center, the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Catch the Kings tonight on Sactown Sports.
Funk starts left, goes right, up and down, move to the rack. Oh, what a drive to the basket.
It's the Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at 7 on your home for Sacramento Kings basketball. Sactown Sports.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
But as you pointed out, I didn't know this, but George Gervin and Marvin Gaye were actually really, really close.
Really tight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I had no idea. And I'm a huge Marvin Gaye fan. Read his biography, everything. And that was one nugget that I didn't know until I saw yesterday in the little snippet that they ran on NBA TV that those two guys were super close. And so I got to go check that out, man. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, at one point, and not to spoil it for you, but at one point, George Gervin says he went to see Marvin Gaye towards the end of his life, and Marvin Gaye wasn't doing much, and he was just kind of staying at home and laying around. And George Gervin says, come on, let's go out. Marvin Gaye says, there are very few people I would get up for right now, but you are one of them. So, how about that? Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Cool. And the Kings back in action tonight. We're just talking about how this year so far feels a little different. Last year, obviously, everything was, boy, fingers crossed. Hopefully they'll be good. And wow, they were one of the top seeds in the West. So how much of this year, the odd feelings do you think have to do with expectations fans brought into the year that maybe were a little out of whack?
I think a lot of it has to do with that. I think, it's a number of things when you look at it. One, it's obviously the expectations. We want this team to be better, go farther. when it comes to the playoffs, but also sort of you know, you don't want them to take a step back. You don't want last year to be looked at as a fluke. And I think Kings fans worry about that sometimes, you know, especially when you look at some of the criticism from the outside media, the national media going into the season. Like, Kings were a great story last year, but they were super healthy and, you know, they're going to take a step back. And nobody wants this team to take a step back. The interesting thing about it is when you look at the standings in the Western Conference, you know, the Kings are tied for they're 6th right now at 13-9. You know, they're only a game and a half behind the Denver Nuggets. Nobody's panicking in Denver. You know, why are we all upset and worried right now? You know, they're not panicking with the Clippers right now. Even Phoenix isn't panicking. But for some reason, there's this narrative, this belief around Sacramento right now where, you know what, we should be better. And I think it's because of the way they're losing games.
Right.
The 20-point losses, the blowout losses. 1 minute they can look so good, so great, and then the next they can look so bad. And, you know, watching that game, and it's the first time, you know, all season I was able to watch a game at home and just really, you know, see it from that perspective.
Yeah, you're all hopped up on cold medicine, probably.
Yeah, still am, though. So I might say something here over the next couple.
Oh, good.
But they look lost out there, right? Like, they looked like a team that hadn't played together, that didn't have an identity. I think Katie said it on the radio yesterday with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross. They look like they got punked out there. And if I'm Mike Brown, that's concerning to me. If I'm the fan base, that's concerning, because you walk into a game at this point, you don't know which Kings team is going to show up. That's honestly how I feel. I'm hoping and wishing and thinking that they'll come out and play inspired ball tonight, but you just don't know.
One of the theories as to why the Kings have been getting battered on the road on a somewhat regular basis, and I don't even know if it's a theory, it might be factual, but it's, hey, you know what? They've played a lot of teams that they just have issues matching up with. The Warriors, the Pelicans, who else have they? The Rockets. Bad matchup for them. Now, that either way, that's bad news, because if it's true, that's not encouraging, right? That you've got 4 teams in your conference that you can't match up with.
It'd be different if these were Eastern Conference teams. You wouldn't have to see them in the playoffs until the finals. But, you know, think about it. You got 3 losses to the Pelicans. You got 2 to the Clippers. You got 2 to the Warriors.
Right.
That's, you know, 8 of your losses right there. And so it is a concern. And then the 2 against the Rockets. So those are your 9 losses right there. But when you look at the Western Conference, Denver's long too. The Lakers, even though we've beaten them, they're a long team. And so I just think if you're talking about being a championship contender, we've talked about this before, you should be able to adapt your style no matter who you're playing, right? You know, whether you're playing a physical team, all right, bring them on. We got
teams should be matching up to you.
Right, exactly. And talking to Doug Christie over the years, that's one of the things that frustrates him the most, is that, you know, when we sort of, you know, succumb or bow down or whatever the phrase may be to other teams instead of dictating the pace and how we want to play. Like, we should make teams adjust to us and have issues trying to guard us and play us instead of vice versa.
I think one of the issues for the Kings so far, and again, we know they're 13-9, but we've got high aspirations. One of the things that they have had troubles with to this point, I think, is some of the things they did in the offseason that were designed to improve them, they just haven't worked out yet. They still can. For example, the bench. They made a lot of moves to strengthen the bench, and the bench has still been a little erratic. And we thought Davion was going to have a big year perhaps this year, and right now, you know, he's really struggling. They bring in Vezenkov, and he's had his ups and downs. I know you were talking Monday about how, you know, you're ready to give him more minutes. Maybe he's there, but he's had some ups and downs. And the other thing is Keegan. Keegan was supposed to be a lot better this year. That's part of the plan to get better. And so far, he's had his moments, but he hasn't really gained a lot of momentum towards getting better. And then the other thing was the defense was supposed to be better this year just by virtue of them having played it all last season. So far, those 3 things, they're not gaining a lot of traction on those yet. So that's why sometimes I think it looks like they're spinning their wheels. But that doesn't mean that those things won't start.
Right. And if those things do start clicking, man, you're talking about a different team. But, you know, I want to continue this conversation this way. we're saying all these things. All right, tell me what is clicking right now for the Kings outside of De'Aaron Fox.
Well, I was going to say
Right.
Domas and De'Aaron are,
Yeah.
obviously they've shown so far. Last year was hardly a fluke. They're
Right.
legitimate, all NBA caliber players. Malik Monk's playing well. And then they've had, that's a frustrating thing. The moments where, wow, the 3-point shots are falling.
Yeah.
And Trey Lyles has had his moments.
Yeah.
But it's been a little, other than those two, it's been a little erratic and sporadic.
And so I'm going to look at it in an optimistic view of things. This team hasn't even played a really great game yet. Maybe the other night, Monday against Brooklyn, was their best, one of their best offensive games, sure. But there's so many question marks surrounding this team, so many unanswered questions, but yet they're still 13-9 in the top 6 in the Western Conference. So as a Kings fan, I should be encouraged. And you have 6 straight games at home. Now, and I know the competition is tough. Boston, Phoenix, Minnesota, those kind of guys. But now's the time, man. If you can go 5-1 on this homestand, you're talking 18-10 at that point. Please, we're talking a different level. And so, as frustrating as it's been so far, as disappointing to an extent it's been so far, the opportunity is still there. There's still a whole lot of games left, and the Kings this month, when they have 10 out of 15, I think it is, here at home, they can make up some ground big time right now.
I think that's a great point. Yeah. That's why this is such an exciting time as they start this homestand. And the bad games they've had when they've got blown out, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that has happened here. It's all been on the road.
Just the one Clippers game. Just the one Clippers game. But outside of that, the rest, I don't know if you want to count the Pelicans game in the in-season tournament. That was, but that was close for,
Yeah, they were in. They were
in
competitive.
It. Right. They were competitive. But in terms of just laying over, not showing up, the Clippers game, and that's about it. And so I think, when you look at it, having a day off yesterday, if you're Mike Brown, you're showing them the film of that Clippers game. Hopefully, as a player, you're pissed off. You're like, we got to be better than this. The thing that frustrates me though, Whitey, is how many times do we have to have this talk? How many times do we have to, after a big loss or a 20-point loss? All right, hopefully they're mad right now. Hopefully
there's no more wake-up calls.
There's no more wake-up calls. And so I'm sitting there and watching the game the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, is this what this season is going to be? It's like some highs, but then also some lows. That roller coaster we talked about. And here we are 21 games in, 22 games in, and it's looking like that. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why to me this homestand is so important, because at the end of this homestand, I think you'll have a pretty clear idea. All right, are we better than we had been? Are some of these things starting to work for us? Or are we going to have to look in another direction? And, I think after these 6 games, you'll have a clearer idea. And Monty McNair will have a clearer idea of what exactly this team is. And there's every reason to be excited and optimistic. But if they don't play well, then I think they got to make some hard choices, because you still have every chance, no matter how this homestand goes, to have a special season.
Yeah, exactly. And, regarding the trade deadline, if I'm Monty McNair, am I thinking, what? Keegan hasn't got going yet. We haven't had everybody hitting all at once. We haven't seen this team, really playing well all at once. And do I reserve judgment until then? Or is the 22 games enough to see where this team is lacking, where this team has some deficiencies, and I have to address that come February? I will say, when you look at this Kings team and where they are right now, I think it's time to go for it. I think it's time to, whether it's an OG or Pascal, whoever it may be.
Really?
But, I don't think, this whole let's slow roll it, let's wait, let it play out, give Keegan another couple years. And I think whether it's this trade deadline or this offseason, you start cashing in some of those assets, some of those draft picks that you have, because I don't think this team needs, a number 22 overall pick or something like that. I think this team needs now is some veterans, some guys who are sort of in their prime right now that can help put you over the hump. I don't know who that is, but enough of the we're going to save our draft picks, we're going to make our draft picks, or we're going to trade out and get 2 second rounders. No, I would have liked them to go get somebody this past offseason. It didn't happen. I think you got to strike now, because I'm looking at OKC, a team we'll see tonight. They're ready. They're already there.
I got a guy for you. That I think fits the bill in a lot of ways, and I believe you look at the trade machine, it works out. You could actually probably make this deal if the other team was willing. So I'll see what you think of that. And this is a guy that is a pretty big name that people are well aware of, and a lot of people wanted him over the summer. So we'll see if this is a potential trade that Kyle Draper likes when we come right back to the Golden One Center. It's a Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Hey, welcome back. It's the Drive Guys here. Golden One Center getting ready for the Kings, their return, taking on OKC tonight. Kyle Draper says, time to make a deal. I think I may have a player that he'd be interested in.
All right, let's hear it. You got me intrigued. And don't come up with no OG or somebody we've been talking about ad nauseum. Like, I need you to dig deep into NBA rosters.
All right. Before we do that, if I may, I just got a text from Emil. I would like to, can I just quickly share with you the list of 49ers who did not practice today?
Oh, who's he got? Yeah.
You got Armstead, you got Hargrave, Greenlaw, Burks, Mitchell, Ward, and Banks. Didn't practice. DNP today. Did not practice.
Keep an eye on my Eagles, baby. We may be back in play. Get this win this week. Niners banged up. Who knows?
A little banged up. Yeah, I thought that might make you feel better. Remember, they're playing Arizona, though. So
same Arizona team that beat Dallas earlier this year?
Actually,
now they got Kyler Murray. Right, they don't guys. Right, you're right.
Yeah, it's actually not.
Is this?
Yeah. Anyway, be that as it may. Okay, so we realize the Kings here may have to make a move in order to upgrade and put themselves in position to compete down the stretch here. We don't know that yet, but they may have to. So we're just looking at potential names, and we're getting upon the date where some of these guys are eligible to be traded now.
Yeah.
This guy, I believe, is not quite. You can't quite trade him yet. I think he's a January 15th guy.
All right.
Okay. But I went to the trade machine. You could do this, and obviously there'd be more involved. You could trade if you wanted. You could trade Harrison Barnes, salary-wise, and Davion, and you probably have to throw in some future draft capital.
Yeah.
To Portland for Jeremy Grant. You could do that.
Jeremy Grant, an interesting name.
I'm not saying you should. I just noticed today that you could. I will tell you this. A couple days ago, we were talking to the High Flyer, and High Flyer, I believe he is very high on Jeremy Grant. I give you a chance to ponder it.
I got to digest this. Yes.
To me, he's more of a small forward who, in the past, I think you could look at his team and say, boy, he puts up good numbers, but his teams haven't done well, which may or may not be his fault. Doesn't rebound especially well, and I think he's a good defender, but I don't know if he's good enough to really help me in that area. So I don't think I would want to do that, but that's a pretty big name that, according to the salaries and the trade machines, you have the wherewithal to pull that off if you wanted.
Jeremy Grant, that's a tough one because there's been some talk even before the season was being mentioned because if I'm correct, I think he was a free agent, right?
Yeah. And then I guess maybe they thought Dame might come back and they re-upped him.
Yeah, they re-upped him.
22 points a game so far this year, 41% from the three-point line. Last year, he was at 40% from the three-point line.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with someone in Portland about Jeremy Grant, actually, and this was before the season. And, the narrative is, sure, he puts up points, but he's not a great defender. The numbers didn't indicate that. And this person I was talking to said, throw out the numbers. First of all, nobody on Portland was playing defense last year. And they said, this guy is long, he's athletic, he can be a plus defender for you. And so I think that's an intriguing name. I'm not against that at all. I would like to hear from Kings fans out there, 916-339-1140. Jeremy Grant, is he the guy that we need? Is he now let me ask you this, because I think he's a tremendous player.
He's 6'7". He could play both. I think he's more of a 3 than a 4, but he has played 4 in his career.
Yeah, but let me look up his wingspan. He has a 7'3" wingspan, and so he's 6'7", but defensively he's 7'3" out there. Wingspan, passing lanes, and everything like that. And so, but does that put you over the top? I don't know if it does, but I do think it moves you closer. I'm a big believer in when guys go to a certain system, it matters. And so he's playing in Portland, putting up numbers, but that's not winning basketball right now. If he comes to Sacramento, a winning culture, a winning team, a team that's going for it, you might see even a better version of him. Maybe not more points or anything like that, but in terms of efficiency, in terms of impact, right now he's just getting his buckets and his rebounds and everything like that. But you put him on a winning situation around better players where he's your third option, maybe. Come on now.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed to a Jeremy Grant.
Again, if somebody looks it up, you'll find that you cannot make this trade now because I don't think you could trade him till January, and even HB you can't trade till I think it's tomorrow is when you could trade him.
Yeah.
But this deal would work financially. We don't know if Portland will be interested, and you'd probably, as I said, Kyle, don't you think you'd have to be willing to part with at least a number one? The Kings have
for sure, 100%.
Yeah, they through 25 through 29, I think they have all their picks, first and second, and then in 2030 they have a number one as well.
Because if you're Portland, why would you do that? Not for the players, if you, let's say you didn't include it. HB wouldn't be part of their future or anything like that. They're not making that trade for Davion. So they're in a rebuild, and so they probably want more cracks at that first round lottery kind of situation. And so I like Jeremy Grant. I like that. You surprised me with that one. And, I mentioned, 6,
I don't
7,
think I would do it, but you probably would, huh?
Well, I don't know if I give up 2 first rounders for him, but I don't know. I said it before. You got to do something if you're Monty McNair. I think whether it's in February or whether it's in the offseason, you got to improve the roster if we're talking about competing for a championship.
Yeah, and he is under contract for a while.
Yes.
He's making a lot of money, but you don't have to worry about bringing him in and then, he left already like you do with Siakam I'm out on, and I like him, but he's starting to decline a little bit, it appears.
You out on Siakam?
Yeah, and he's not defensively, he's not great. He's put up big numbers, but there's too much risk involved there. Anunoby, I think, would be a great fit, but again, does he want to be here next year? You'd have to do some backdoor channeling there, right, and find out, would he maybe be interested in staying before you'd have any interest in doing that? But Grant is a guy that would be under club control for a few years if you traded for him.
Well, let me look at his what did he sign? A 5-year $160 with the Portland Trailblazers.
He ain't cheap.
Inside. So he ain't cheap, What's that work out to? About $30 million a year. So he's at 27.5 now. Goes up to 30, then 32. Whoo, that's a lot. and that's your team.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all you're doing right there. Your big three. You're tying to Domas, Grant, and De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That concerns me.
Yeah,
and you got to re-sign and Keegan, yes, but then you got to re-sign Malik Monk,
right?
That has to be a priority, right?
And
so
it's tempting, but I don't think I'd do it. I'd look long and hard at it, but ultimately, nope.
Nah, you're right. I tend to agree with you, but that's the issue we're going to have though.
Yep.
If you're Sacramento, who is that guy then? If it's not Jeremy Grant, if it's not Pascal, OG, maybe it's OG.
Zach LaVine.
Is it like Zach LaVine? Is it Caruso? Like, I don't know if there are any slam dunk moves out there for Sacramento, and that bothers me because I think you have to let's go by position. Let's say we need a backup point guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Malik's doing a heck of a job. Keon's showing some flashes. Davion's in and out. Like if you're talking about building a championship, I think you need to upgrade that position. Maybe it's an Alex Caruso.
It is. Right?
I think so.
I think he definitely helps you. I don't know if he helps you enough, but I mean he appears to be a guy that just fits you like a glove.
Yes, but with Chicago,
and we don't even know if we don't even know if they're willing to trade.
Right, and I feel like another number of teams would want a guy like Alex Caruso.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Lakers would probably try to get him back. I think you look at Philly, they might try and swing at that as well, and so there's going to be some competition. And I'm glad I'm not in Monty McNair's shoes. I don't know about you. I'm on Twitter all the time, and I still refuse to call it X. So I'm going to call it Twitter.
Yeah, me too.
And I see all these, so-called proposed trades, and everybody's working the trade machine. And it's nothing excites me. Nothing says like, yes, that's the deal. We need to do it because it takes two to tango as well. And so a lot of these deals people throw out. Why would the other team do that?
Yeah.
And so I think the Kings are in a tough spot. They have their picks. Yes. They have some assets. Yes. That they can move in terms of players, but who's that guy that's really going to move you forward?
I thought maybe I'd found him for you.
You didn't even find him for yourself though.
I don't want him. I just saw you would want.
No, I like him as a player, but man, he's expensive. You got to give up a lot. And does it really put you?
That's the thing.
that much closer.
There's a really good chance it doesn't.
Right.
Just
right.
kind of moving things around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And so I don't know who that player is that can. Maybe it's packaging something and trying to move up in the draft. Maybe I don't know.
Haven't you heard that this draft? Pro scouts think this upcoming draft is like,
yeah, no,
not to get excited
exactly.
about.
I think the following year is supposed to be. Is that the one?
And scouts are never wrong. We know that. They're never wrong. Yeah.
I feel like every year it's either this draft up or it's a tremendous draft. But I don't know what you do if you're Monty McNair. But I think we can all agree that if we're chasing the championship, some tweaks need to be made.
Yeah,
to the roster.
Yeah. I agree with that. Giannis wants his ball back, and we'll find out whether he got it when we come right back to the Golden One Center. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Hearing from some of the smartest listeners in radio on what the Kings should do at the deadline, and coming to you from the Golden One Center, of course, Kyle Draper is back today.
Yes.
Kyle Draper saying, "Oh, can you tell I'm not feeling tip-top?" No, you sound great.
Really?
Yeah.
You sweating profusely over there, though?
I am sweating a little bit, you know.
That bird flu still hadn't exited your system yet, huh?
I'm not getting too close to him, Jay. Just let me put it that way.
Oh, you can't catch the bird flu. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Hey, man.
Only certain people can catch that type of
flu. At Levi Stadium the other day, Jay. I was down there in Santa Clara the other day. Got sick down there seeing all that red.
Your immune system just said, no,
you're
not
shut
doing
down,
this.
right?
Yeah.
I forgot you went to the game. How was the experience? I didn't get to hear about it.
Nah, it was awful, man. It was terrible. Dude, it was, you know what, Jay? You'll appreciate this, man. The tailgating was pretty good, though. Like, just the music, the vibes. You know, I'm hearing, obviously E40. I'm hearing some Too Short. I'm hearing, like, some DJ Quick. And I'm like, this is what tailgating
You're hearing Bang Bang Niner Gang.
I did hear that several times. Several times. That's all right. Have your fun now, Niners fans. Have your fun. Still a lot of football left to be played. And the Niners are banged up. They might lose this weekend. I mean,
well, I guess.
My boy Kyler Murray out there. That's my guy.
Oh, that's your guy now all of a sudden. Okay.
My guy.
Jay, is that going back to Oklahoma, or how's that your guy?
No, just this week. For this week only, I need him to go out there and look like Joe Montana, Tom Brady, or something like that, man.
Jay,
one week.
Yeah, Kyle was saying that he was so high up that when he wanted to check the score, he had to look like way down for the replays and the score.
That's when you know you're in the nosebleeds, right? Because usually when you go to an event, most of the time it's like, all right, I'm eye level, or I'm going to look up at the scoreboard.
Sure.
No, the scoreboard was like below. I was in the last row at Levi Stadium.
Sitting on the heavens, brother.
Dude, I could have touched the sky, man. Seriously.
So wait, real quick, I don't mean to, bust it out like that. Were these self-purchase tickets or somebody else? Okay, which I figured.
Right.
So
First of all, I would never buy Niners tickets. Never in a million years.
Even if they played the Eagles at home.
In the NFC Championship game, maybe.
Okay.
So,
Eagles come to Levi Stadium, you're not buying tickets.
Nah, dude, I get the hookup. You know somebody, I know somebody.
That's
somebody
true.
I don't know about your hookup, though, if you're sitting up there and you're ducking airliners.
Seriously.
What kind of hookup is that?
You know how high it was? It started raining, but I was too far up high, so it didn't rain on me. I was above the clouds. Like, it was that far up.
Closer to God.
But it was fun, man. The kids had a great time, though. They enjoyed it.
You better check your Connect, brother.
Yeah, You're right. I texted him. I'm like, dude, you didn't tell me these were the last row. He's like, I told you, man. I told you they're not good seats. And I'm like, oh, man, I got to get somebody new.
And you're on the home of the 49ers.
Exactly.
Home of the 49ers.
I don't know who to talk to. No. I got to talk to you. You got some connections in the Bay. Right?
Jay's probably the way to go there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to help you out now.
Oh, no. I always got love. I never take it personal.
I saw somebody
Anytime.
wearing Cowboys gear.
Ooh.
There as well. And he was very confident wearing it. And I honestly think right now, and Jay, you tell me, it's safer to wear Cowboys gear than Eagles gear now.
No.
You sure, man?
I'm saying no.
It's kind of fresh and raw, man. I don't know.
It's not safe, but in terms, people are going to say things, but in terms of actually, some physical violence, I agree with you.
That's what I think. I think the rivalry now with the Eagles, it's a rivalry, but it's nasty now too. There's some real hatred. There's a rivalry with the Cowboys. We get it. But I don't know, man. I don't know, because we both have the rival in common. Like, Eagles fans hate Cowboys fans. But right now, our rival is the Niners. Like, the way that SmackDown happened, I see red. It bothers me, man.
On the other hand, 49er fans are smart, and they see somebody in an Eagles jersey. At first, they might start to react, then they go, wait, aren't they like fifth now? And so then, it's not worth it. I think you might get some of that.
I deserve it, and I can take it. Just talk to me January 29th or whenever the NFC Championship game is when we come into Levi's and get that W.
Looking forward to it.
So you've already conceded that you guys aren't going to win. You're not going to finish in first.
No, you guys got an easy schedule outside of Baltimore.
You guys got an easy schedule.
Yeah, we do.
Outside of
really
Seattle. Well, I mean, what the...
I think both teams probably win out. We'll have the same exact record, 13-4. That's nothing.
Don't you play the Giants 4 times or something?
I know.
Like
we got 2 against the Giants. Who is it? The Seahawks, the Giants,
Commanders.
Yeah.
And
the Niners play the Commanders too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
49ers have the Commanders and the Rams.
The Rams last week.
And the Cardinals.
Baltimore
and the
on
Ravens.
Christmas.
That's very
and
doable.
the Rams. Are the Rams playing for anything, maybe?
Yeah.
They're on the fringe.
They're still in the mix.
Yeah, they're playing for
that could be
playoffs
a
right
big
now,
game.
brother.
Yeah.
That
could be a big game. So hopefully I'll be a Rams fan that week.
Listen, I'll tell Whitey, before you jump back in, I just want to say on behalf of the Drive guys, Kyle, if you do need anything, we're more than happy to bring something over for the bird flu. So we'll bring you some soup. We'll bring you some bird seeds. We got everything that you possibly need, Lo. Anything you need, we got it for you.
For this. I'll take it, man. I'll take it. You know what I found today, though? That Brock Purdy jersey. I actually picked it up off the floor. Like, literally, it's been sitting on the floor, wedged in between the couch ever since.
Whether you like them or not, it costs you, what, $185 or whatever?
$140.
Should you take better care of it?
No, I don't know.
On it?
It's, dude, like I said, he's going to be out of the league in 2 or 3 years, you know? So I'm not, I don't worry about
Save that one. We're going to save that drop.
Y'all remember growing up when you used to clean the windows with a rag? You know, you used to have Windex instead of paper towels. You used an old rag or something. That's what I'm going to use that Brock Purdy jersey for.
Yeah.
It's like cleaning the windows.
I just used Nick Sirianni's game plan. Right now. That's what I do.
It's trash.
Yeah.
It's been trash lately.
Some people weighing in here on Kings trade ideas. HF says, this is on the YouTube chat. I don't think Grant makes the Kings a championship team. I'd rather be patient, get someone like PJ Tucker. He can bring toughness to this team. I'm hoping Keegan can become someone like Jaylen Brown. PJ Tucker, I think you could get right now.
Yeah, but that's not doing it.
No, I don't.
That's not.
Yeah.
What are you giving up for PJ Tucker? Second round pick?
Those giant dice that are on the court right now.
You know, maybe some old in-season tournament t-shirts or something. Yeah, exactly.
I like him, but he can't. I don't think he can help you anymore.
PJ Tucker ain't going to get it done. There's a reason why he can't get off the bench with the Clippers. He was a big part of that James Harden trade, and now he can't even play for the Clippers. So thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, Scooter 916. The problem I'm seeing is the inconsistency with everyone right now. Huge Keegan fan. Even him, Herter has been horribly inconsistent this season, getting minimal scoring from HB. And yeah, we talked about that. That's one of the frustrating things. And you know, if it's your business to evaluate this team, if you're Monty, like, what do we have here so I can decide what to do? Well, hold on. I need to see some consistency. Right. And then at some point you realize, all right, the inconsistency is just what they are.
What it is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that's frustrating though when you think about it, because I started off the season saying, give me 15 to 20 games and let me evaluate the team. And here we are 22 games in, about to go into number 23, and we still don't know who this Sacramento Kings team is. One thing I did see the other night is that Mike Brown's rotations seem to be shorter. Like Chris Duarte, he was back, he was healthy, didn't really play. And so I think Mike Brown has his top 8.5, and he's going to stick with those guys. I would give it another week or two, especially the 6-game homestand against some very tough teams. But this is the NBA, and we talked about it, Whitey. Outside of Minnesota, Boston, is there anybody really, OKC maybe, lighting the world on fire where you feel like, man, they are just consistently great? Every team, it feels like, has some struggles at some point. Even Denver had some issues.
Right. Yes, that's true. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Just hope that starting tonight with 6 home games in a row that the Kings start to find some consistency. When we come back, and no, we haven't gotten to Draymond yet. I'm dying to know what Kyle thinks of Draymond and what the league should do and what they did. We haven't gotten to Giannis yet. We still don't know if he got his ball back. But when we come back, tell you that there's one quarter in which the Kings have just really struggled.
Mm.
Do you know what it is? Have you noticed that? Of the 4 quarters, of course, it's 4 in a game. There's one quarter in which the Kings have been terrible. Tell you what that is and try to figure out why that is when we come back to the Golden One Center on Sactown Sports. Game night here at the Golden One Center, and it is game night here on this game night. Drive guys getting ready for the Kings and the Thunder. Yay! We've got Kyle Draper back with us today, and they are celebrating tonight between quarters and during timeouts. Looks like TV game shows, and right now we're just seeing a demonstration of, Kyle, I think that was live with real people, Hungry Hippos that they were just playing at. Yeah. So
yeah, that was a great board game back in the day. Did you play that, right? Or
I don't know if I know what it is, but I don't know if I ever actually
played
it.
My game back.
Really?
In the day. Yes, I used to love some Hungry. I was actually I love board games in general. You talk to my mom to this day, like, yeah, Kyle, you always want a game night at the house. I love board games.
Yeah.
Kids love them too now.
Yeah. So you got the tradition in the Draper household even now with the kids?
Nah, no tradition, but we'll break out the board game, But nowadays you play games on your phone.
Right.
So like we'll play Life or Monopoly on our phones now. That's not the same. It's not the same. But we do that.
Yeah. Here's an old man complaint. You ever play Yahtzee?
Yes.
Yeah. If you play it now with some younger people, and you get to the end and you're adding up the scores, and they need their phone. They can't add up the scores.
Get out of here. They can't carry the one and all that.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Do you have a calculator? Oh, there's one on my phone. Add up the score. I can't do it. I need
that is get off my lawn because it's quicker, it's easier.
Yeah.
It's true, but on the phone you can boop, 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 boop. It's nice and quick and easy, right?
I guess. I just think it should be something where what do I do? Where's my phone? You're probably right.
The worst is when I have to help my daughter for her with her math homework, and it'll be like a fraction or something. And instead of like going through it, I'll actually just punch it in on my phone just to get the correct answer.
But then you play it off like, well, let me tell you what.
No, we work through it, but just to make sure I did everything right and everything. Yeah. It's technology.
I got you.
You still reach for the encyclopedia when you want to look up something?
It's not there. I reach for it like, what happened to my encyclopedia? It's not there.
I miss the encyclopedias. Those are great.
Here are some strange numbers for you. I don't pretend to know what these mean, but they're a little alarming as we get ready for the Kings homestand. And one of the things we've been talking about today is the fact that, the Kings 13-9. Hey, we'll take that, but it seems like they've been a little inconsistent. So what's keeping them from winning more games here? The Kings have a positive net rating in every single quarter, except the second quarter. And as Kings Herald points out, I think Akis wrote this, and he gets some of these numbers from John Schumann. The Kings have a minus 15.5 net rating in the second quarter. And the only team performing worse is Memphis. Second quarter, minus 15.5. In the 13 games the Kings have won, they've managed to have a positive net rating in the second quarter. The net rating in their 9 losses, in the second quarter of the 9 losses, the Kings are minus 38.8.
Wow.
So they are getting, when they're playing badly, it all seems to come apart in the second quarter. Yeah.
And we've seen that, right? We saw it against the Pelicans, that Pelicans game. Remember, in the first quarter, they came out hitting on all cylinders. Everything was good. And then it fell apart, And so why do you think that is?
My first thought was, well, you know why? Because the bench hasn't been as consistent as the Kings thought. But if you look at the numbers, the starters still tend to play the most minutes in the second quarter. And for some reason, in the second quarter, the starters are terrible in some of these losses.
Right.
And they played well in the first quarter, the starters have. So I don't know. It's one of those things that makes you go, I'm not sure what it means, but it's so dramatic that there's something going on there in the second quarter for the Kings.
Yeah, it's how many games have we seen Sacramento come out fired up, hitting threes, looking good, and then it falls apart? I keep going back to that Pelicans game because that one was so glaring, because you felt good, you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden it turned on a dime. And a lot of times it's not like, it's overtime. It's not like a team gets back into it over the, like it's night and day. Like, and we saw that, against the Clippers the other day. They got outscored 38-24, I think it was, in that second quarter against the Clippers. And
would you say Domas is having another good year? I would.
He's having an okay year. His last few games have been kind of subpar, to be honest with you.
His net rating is positive in every other quarter, but in the second quarter, it's minus 26.8.
Wow.
Harrison Barnes, second quarter, minus 18.6. Herder, minus 17.3. Keegan, minus 14.2. So it's not like one guy's playing badly. Just for whatever reason, the Kings, when they get boat raced, they're getting boat raced, especially in the second quarter.
I don't know what you can point it to. You could say the bench, but a lot of times that's Malik Monk, JaVale McGee comes out. I don't know, because ultimately, like you said, the starters are playing probably 8 minutes in that quarter, in the second quarter. And so I have no idea what it is. You brought up Domantas Sabonis. Over his last 8 games, he's averaging just 15.4 points, shooting 44% from the field. And so
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So his numbers have taken a dip as well. And I don't know, man. What we're seeing is this team is consistently inconsistent. And will the real Sacramento Kings please stand up, to quote the great Marshall Mathers? Because I don't know who they are right now. Are they a top 4 or 5 team? They could be. Are they a play-in team? At times they look like it.
Right now, they look more like a play-in team.
Right.
They certainly could be more than that, but right now, that's what they look like.
You know, and when I look at their schedule, though, they do have some quality wins. Let's not, act like they don't have quality wins, Whitey. You beat Denver. You beat OKC. You beat
Minnesota in Minnesota.
You beat Minnesota. You beat the Lakers. And so you've beaten those teams ahead of you in the standings. It's the teams behind you, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Pelicans that you're having problems with. That's what's so concerning to me. It's like the teams ahead of you, you fared well against. The teams you're supposed to beat, those are the ones you're losing to. That's concerning.
Doesn't it seem sometimes like there's a guy missing? There's one more piece that's missing. I'm not sure what it is. We're trying to figure out what that could be. Do you think is this a possible option? I think we've talked about this, and I think you will not agree with this. Is it possible you brought in a 5 where you could slide Sabonis back to the 4? Could that be one of the big answers or pieces to your puzzle when you're looking at bringing somebody in?
I'm all about give me a name. Tell me who. And then we can have that conversation. First thought is nope, it's not going to happen. Now,
I think I agree with you.
Now, if you're bringing in a Brook Lopez or something, okay, I can see that. If you're going out and getting Kristaps Porzingis, okay, I can see that. But outside of that, who's out there that you can pair along Sabonis?
I don't have an answer for you.
Oh my God, this is so frustrating, Whitey. Not that you don't have an answer, but I wish there was a quick fix where we could say, "Yup, that dude right there, he's going to make this team into a championship contender. He's going to make this team into a team that can go deep in April and May." And I don't think it's there. I don't think there's any easy answer for this Kings team right now.
Well, something to keep an eye on. The Kings, when they struggle in the second quarter, that's often a really bad sign. And hopefully we won't see any of that on this homestand. Speaking of players who can play center, we haven't gotten your thoughts yet, Drapes, on what you thought of Draymond Green's actions against the Suns, the league's reaction. We were on yesterday with Emil when the news of the indefinite suspension broke. Jay and I, we all shared a lot of opinions on what this means for Draymond. Does seem interesting, the league now, rather than, hey, that's it, we're cracking down on Draymond now. It's like, oh, we're going to try to help him. What do you make of the whole mess? And do you think it's possible, as some in the Bay are suggesting, it might be time for the Warriors to move off of Draymond? I don't see him doing that, but some say, oh, it's time for them to move off of Draymond.
I don't see them doing that. They probably should, but I don't know any team in the league that would want to take that 4-year, $100 million contract, given all his baggage. I've always said about Draymond, you put him on a different team with no Steph, no Clay, what's his value, especially on the offensive end? He's going to be a good defender. We know that. But offensively, is he going to come to Sacramento, let's say? There was some talk, should the Kings go after him? I actually sort of like the fit of him in Sacramento. We talk about, a guy that could play alongside Sabonis.
Brings a little edge.
Brings
a lot of edge.
Yeah, exactly. But he brings a lot of headaches as well. And, I just don't know what kind of team would want to acquire a guy like Draymond. Maybe the Lakers, because they got LeBron And, he's best friends with LeBron. Those two are tight. But, when you look at what Draymond did in the league's response, I'm okay with the indefinite suspension because to me, and a lot of people are saying, well, indefinite could be 5-6 games. I don't see it that way. I see indefinite is, 3 weeks to a month. We're talking 10 to 15 games, and I'm okay with that. And so I think what the league wants to see is some remorse from Draymond, something heartfelt where he's trying to change. He wants to, go get the mental health, because what you're seeing is, by all accounts, he's great off the court. It's just the anger management when you get in the heat of battle.
Have you ever seen him with his kids? He's
great.
Like,
Tremendous with the kids. Like, he's like a big teddy bear with the kids.
They clearly love
him. But he gets in between those lines. He turns into a different guy.
Mm-hmm. So could the Dubs be done with Draymond? We're right back with that and more from the Golden One Center, the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Coming to you from the Golden One Center, where they're working on a little, I don't want to spoil any surprises, Kyle Draper, but a kind of a family feud style game they got.
I love Family Feud.
Yeah.
What was your favorite game show growing up? Newlywed Game?
No, it wasn't.
All right.
It wasn't a Newlywed Game. I did used to like shows like, I don't know if you remember Match Game in Hollywood Squares, because what they would do is they would film a whole week, like they do couple in the morning, and then they'd all go out and get tanked, and then they'd come back and finish the week. So by Friday, they're all drunk.
You would like that.
I didn't even know as a kid.
As a kid,
these guys are goofy.
Right, exactly.
Wow, they're having fun.
What happened from Monday to Friday, Mom? What's the difference? My favorite game show, Pressure Luck. Remember that with the whammies?
Yeah.
Big bucks, no whammies, stop. Yeah. They got a new version that's out now too, and so I love it, man. Introduced it to the kids as well.
Yeah,
they're into it.
Password, they've brought back. Jimmy Fallon is on a new Password. But the feud is a classic. The Family Feud is a classic.
Now, do you remember this game show? This is probably in the 90s, maybe. Change of Heart. It was a dating show.
I do.
It was a dating show. So the guy would, I don't think she was a girlfriend or something, but he would go out on a date with one girl, and then they'd introduce this other woman, and they'd go out on a date, and he'd have to decide, do I stay with her, or do I have a change of heart?
Change of heart.
Oh, no.
I don't know about that one, man. I think that was short-lived. I think
I never
people
saw that
complained.
one.
Google it, change of heart.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Are you, or have you ever been a Jeopardy fan?
Yes.
Great show.
I love it when they have sports on there, sports categories.
Oh, yeah. The people.
And they have, that's so embarrassing. What's going on in America? I mean, like, is this what we want? Like, it'd be like, yeah, so this player, nicknamed the King, won 4 NBA championships, 2 with Miami, 1 with Cleveland, and 1 with the Lakers. Michael Jordan. You know, it's like, come on, man. What are we doing here? Like, what are we teaching these people in this world? So yeah, man, I love game shows.
Yeah, we used to have an old what would it be? Nintendo 2, and my daughter would play Jeopardy, but the thing is, you had to type in every answer, so you'd have to scroll over to the letters.
I remember that.
What? WHATIS. Oh, I made a mistake. I got to go back.
Oh, yes. I do
Forever.
remember that. I do remember that. Those were the days, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're having game night here at the Golden One. Looks like we're going to have a lot of fun with TV game shows and even some board games. No fun what happened to Yusuf Nurkic a couple nights ago. Yeah. First of all, what did you just think of Draymond's action? Jay and I talked about that yesterday. I mean, no matter what you think of Draymond or the suspension, it was just a weird thing the way that happened.
A weird thing, and, his explanation afterwards, he was grabbing me. I was just trying to sell it. No, that was violent what he did.
Mm-hmm.
That was a violent shot to the head. Obviously, no place in the NBA for something like that. And I understand, and I've brought it up before. When you get between those lines, I turn into a different person. People at home listening right now, driving in the car, they may say, "Oh, Drapes, you're so lovable and cuddly. You're such a, But once I get him in, the testosterone takes over, so I get it. But you never
just ask the people that he plays pickup.
Exactly, the Folsom Lifetime. They banned me from playing with them. They see me coming in like, here we go. But it's never been something like that. Never been something like, oh, thank you, Selena, with our meal of the day being delivered here. Thank you, Selena. But it's never been something like that. And the thing that concerns me about Draymond is you look at the Rudy Gobert incident. You look at what happened the other night with Yusuf Nurkic. These are sort of unprovoked incidents. Like the Gobert incident, he wasn't even a part of. Things were settling down, and all of a sudden he comes, runs in, and escalates it. The same thing with Nurkic. What Nurkic did, that happens on every single possession among big men in the NBA, and he took it to that level. And so if I'm the NBA, you have to not only send a message, Whitey, you have to do something to deter this from escalating into something more. This is how the malice in the palace starts. If you let a guy like this continue to get away with it. And so it's not about sending the message. To Joe Dumar's point, and he spoke today on First Take, it's about getting some help for this dude, because if he's going to step on the floor again, you can't have another incident like that.
I'm all for that. I just wonder why it took the league and or the team so long to realize the guy needs help. I mean, and it's possible, as we discussed yesterday, if somebody, they need help, but they say, I don't need any help, there's really only so much you can do. So if they've tried to help Draymond and he has resisted that, okay, I get that. But it took the league and the Warriors this long with everything that he's done to say, this guy may need some help. By the way, the other thing, when Draymond was explaining what he did to Nurkic, and he said, I don't flop. I don't flop. Well, Kings fans don't flop, right? He just did.
He just flopped like a week or
right
two
over
ago,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was pretty funny.
But where the league dropped the ball on Draymond isn't the Gobert situation. It isn't even the Domas stop. It's the punch to Jordan Poole. That right there should have signaled
the league said, "Well, let the team handle it." Yeah,
and the organization, like, this dude, something is not right, and they didn't punish him for that.
They did not suspend him.
They did not suspend him for that, which is unfathomable now that you look back on it. It's like, dude, we saw the warning signs. You sucker punch your teammate. You stomp on Domas, chokehold. Now you got this, and to me, like I said, it's not sending the message. It's A, getting this dude some help, and B, letting them know that, what, before you come back, we got to make sure this doesn't happen ever again. Because what if Nurkic got up and hauled off on him? And that's how things escalate, So I give Nurkic a lot of credit, man, because, in the heat of battle, who knows? You do that to the wrong person, they may want to go fight you back, and then that's how things escalate.
I agree with you, and I think where they really have dodged a bullet is on those instances where, and we've seen it here a little bit, I'm thinking of Memphis a couple years ago, where Draymond gets thrown out, then he starts parading around the arena on the road, and screaming
like it's
at
wrestling.
people. Yeah, I mean, that obviously there's some horrible things that could happen in those situations.
Exactly. And
yeah.
Kudos to Kings fans for, not throwing things, not chucking things at them. Like I said, that's how the malice started. And so it's sort of like he's become a caricature, a cartoon figure, an actor almost, where his play is being far overshadowed by all of his antics. And to your point, stomping around and trying to egg on the crowd and everything. What is this? This is not, Roman times where you got gladiators fighting in the ring. This is professional basketball. This is supposed to be entertainment, and he's taking it a little too far for sure.
I think his name is Mark Boyle, and he's been a Pacer announcer for a long time. We had him on. Maybe he's not currently. We had him on after the Malice in the Palace on this station, and he was telling us about like talking to then Ron Artest after that. I think he said Ron had like a cut or something. He was asking him, Ron, what happened? And he said Ron Artest really didn't know what had happened with everything. He was like, I don't know. And sometimes I wonder if Draymond, when he does these things, he's not sure. Yeah, when he says I didn't mean to do it, he doesn't even know. But the thing that makes me skeptical of this is Draymond repeatedly through all these incidents, he eventually says, I'm going to be me. I'm going to do what I do. And so now we're supposed to believe that because the league has decided this is it, that he's going to go, okay, now you're right. I need help. And you're right. I'll admit everything and I'll be a changed man. I'd love to see it if that helps him, but I don't believe that's going to happen.
So what's the appropriate time then? What's the appropriate time frame? 5 games isn't going to get it done, right? Is it 10? Is it 15? And he still might not.
Right. You got to do two things, right? You got to help him.
Yeah.
If that's really what you want. Also, you got to be able to convince fans and your sponsors that, all right, it's been long enough now. People have to buy. If you a week, from now say he's good, no one buys it. You're also selling it to your sponsors and TV networks. A month, 20 games,
right?
What do you think?
No, I think minimum 15. I think, but the issue is, you could suspend him 20 games, 30 games, 40 games. What happens when he does eventually come back? How do we know he's a changed man?
Right.
And so it has to be now where it's zero tolerance when it comes to this guy right now. Any kind of physical action, whether it's a stomp or a punch, you're barred. It's a year-long suspension or something like that, something really drastic. And so I don't think we're there yet. But I think minimum 15 games should be the right answer.
When we come back, going to shift gears a little bit. There's a very interesting conversation going on about the Giants and baseball and the city of San Francisco. Is the city the reason the Giants are in what Buster Posey calls a free agent slump? Kyle and I will get into that along with you. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 as the Drive Guys roll on from the Golden One Center on Sactown Sports.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Drive guys at the Golden One Center. They just completed the rehearsals for the introduction of the starting lineups. Kyle Draper, I want to ask you something about that.
Yeah.
And I just, for some reason, noticed it last game. I know it wasn't new last game, but I think it's kind of cool. Typically, correct me if I'm wrong, but an NBA team, this goes back years and years and years. Your big star's the last one introduced, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And from North Carolina, number 23, whatever. Oh, well, De'Aaron Fox is the first guy introduced, and then Domas is last. And I think that's kind of cool because, Fox could say, hey, I've been here longer. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I saw that, and I thought, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's something I noticed last year, too. It was done that way last year as well. And I don't know how they decide that. Did De'Aaron come out and say, no, let Domas or vice versa? But you're right. Usually the star player wants to wait until the last one to hear his name called, and then the crowd goes into a frenzy. And so maybe that shows you just how these two guys are able to work together, two stars.
I like to think of it that way.
Yeah. Exactly, right? That's how I'm going to think of it. Like, oh, that's mighty nice of De'Aaron to do that.
Yeah. We are just going to switch gears real quickly here because this is something we've been meaning to talk about for a couple days, haven't gotten to it, and then there's so much going on. I just wanted to talk about it now with Kyle back. And before we lose the thread of the Giants and free agency and Ohtani and all of that, Buster Posey was one of the Giants who was involved in the recruiting, if you will, of Shohei Ohtani. The Giants, of course, didn't get him. So Buster Posey spoke with Andy Baggerly about the process. And Buster Posey said, something I think is noteworthy, something that unfortunately keeps popping up from players and even the players' wives, is there's a bit of uneasiness with the city itself as far as the state of the city with crime and drugs. Whether that's all completely fair or not, perception is reality. It's a frustrating cycle. I think, and not just with baseball. Baseball is secondary to life and the important things in life. But as far as free agent pursuit goes, I have seen that it does affect things, end quote. That's an interesting comment, and it has sparked a lot of reaction. I think there's some political undertones to all that. But before I go any further, what do you make of that on the surface?
This is I don't want to say a touchy issue or a tricky issue.
It is.
But I would argue they're probably for a segment of baseball players, free agents, athletes, whoever, there is some concern about the city. Not that it's warranted, though, but just that the narrative that's being painted about the city of San Francisco. You've been down there. You spent some time there. I go down there from time to time. I'm walking down the streets of San Francisco all the time when I go there. I stay right downtown. Hotel Via, right across the street from the ballpark, or the Clancy, right downtown in the Mission area. It's it has changed, but I don't buy that that's, a deterrent for Shohei Ohtani.
Thank you.
Somebody like that.
Yeah.
That to me is, I will say, it probably is an issue that you raise. Like if you're a family moving to San Francisco, well, I heard about this. Then you do your own research and you talk to people that actually live there, but the problem with it is you got this narrative that's being spouted out. I got friends in Boston, you mentioned San Francisco and it's like, oh, San Fran. And as well as I do, LA has issues. Every major city has issues. Every major city has a homeless problem. Where was I at the other day? A couple of weeks ago, we were on the road. It wasn't Minneapolis. I forget where it was. And I was like, man, where are the homeless people? Because it was a clean city. And it shocked me. And it wasn't saying I got to think about where we were because it shocked me. But what you have happening in a lot of these cities too is they create a neighborhood, if you will, for these homeless to go. And so I just think it's bogus, man. I think San Francisco is a great city. I love going into San Francisco. San Francisco, when you look at it, Whitey, I used to always say this when I drove down. As you drive down and you hit the Berkeley area, the Oakland area, it's just a different vibe, a different feel, which is great for me. Like, I love it. I love how I feel when I get to San Francisco. And then you go to some of the different neighborhoods and everything. I just think it's bogus, man. The city is getting a bad rap. And then, living up in Folsom and up here in Northern California, you get so many Bay Area transplants. And then you get people in the neighborhood saying, oh, we don't want those Bay Area every politics has touched everything in our society, and it's a shame right now.
Yeah, two things. I've been working before I came back here for a couple years on a fill-in basis, part-time basis in the city, and I, parking on the street. I know that I was fortunate, but I never had a break-in. And whether I'm parking here in Sacramento or in San Francisco, you don't leave like a backpack in your front seat, put it in the trunk. So I didn't, and I walk the streets at all hours, and I didn't have issues. I know, like any major city, as you say, you got to be careful, but I didn't see anything especially worse there.
Right.
And the other thing is, if you're a free agent, you're making that kind of money, and you're going to play with the Giants.
You're
not going to live in San Francisco, Walnut Creek or wherever, Danville or what, it's like, you're not like you're going to get a house or an apartment across the street from the ballpark. Your family isn't going to live. So Casey Pratt yesterday, who we know, we've had him on the station. He works in the Bay Area, and he came on the station a lot during the summer to talk about the fight to keep the A's in Oakland. And he yesterday to somebody, he responded, he said, the players don't live in the city. This is made up. The problem is the roster or the team. Stop blaming it on the city. It's just you're looking for excuses.
Yes. But who started this Giants narrative? Was it Buster Posey? Was it Farhan? Was it Buster Olney? Where did this all come from? Where does or have they actually heard from players like, no, I don't want to go there because of this? But the problem is the perception is becoming reality. The people who are dissing San Francisco, they're so vocal about it. You see it, on social media everywhere that, there are some people that actually believe that's what it's really like. I urge people, take a trip to the Bay, go to San Francisco, go to Oakland, walk around. And what you'll see is a vibrant city, a city full of life. Sure, it may be some crime. Sure, it may be some homelessness, but that's everywhere. That's in every major American city.
I think in some cases, this is my opinion, as you say, it's kind of a slippery slope. I think there are some, and all walks of life, not just baseball players, who politically lean right a little more. And San Francisco, we know, is a very left-leaning city. And so sometimes some of this, I think, may be code for it's a really liberal city. They don't know what they're doing there, so it's all the crime and everything. And I don't know that that's really what they mean. To answer your question, I do know a couple years ago, the free agent Seiya Suzuki came over from Japan, and supposedly he and his wife said, oh, San Francisco was too, it was not clean enough. I don't know if that's true, but it kind of started there. And for years, there's been kind of rumblings about some players don't want to go to San Francisco, not just because of the city itself, but because of the politics.
Yeah, and that's a shame too, because
that's their right.
That's their right. Yeah. That's their right.
Obviously,
but it's a shame because San Francisco, like I said, is a great city, great people. Has it changed? Yes. COVID changed a lot of places, though. COVID changed a lot of American cities, and San Francisco is just now starting to come back. But I love it when I go down there. The restaurant scene, walking around, just the vibe of the city, the shopping in Union Square. I go hang out. Some sneaker stores in certain neighborhoods I go to. And so and people say, well, how come the Niners don't have that issue? But I can argue, how come the Warriors don't have that? The Warriors have no problem attracting free agents.
Right.
Free agents want to play with Golden State. I haven't heard an NBA free agent say, nope, I don't want to be in San Francisco. So I think it's hogwash.
By the way, thank you, Simone. Just sent me an update here. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Kyle. This is a Woj, maybe not a Woj bomb, but it involves the Kings. Quote from Woj on X. Sacramento Kings are signing forward Juan Toscano-Anderson to a one-year deal. Sources tell ESPN. Juan Toscano-Anderson, he's had stops with the Warriors, Lakers, and Jazz, has been playing with Mexico City of the G League. JTA, it's a great story. Grew up in Oakland.
Yep.
Mike Brown's very familiar with him, of course, because he coached him with Golden State. He's not a guy who's going to propel you, into the finals or anything. And I don't even know if they plan to bring him, have him play with the Kings, or if he'll be a G League guy. But interesting, Juan Toscano-Anderson signing with the Kings. Breaking news this afternoon.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Very versatile player who plays very hard.
6'6" guy, can shoot the ball, even though his numbers have been down. I think he can shoot it. I like his stroke. I don't know how much he helps you. to me, I think this is sort of like a Philip Petrusev kind of move where you take a look at him for a couple of weeks, 3
And who's the other guy they just signed? Stanley?
Oh, Stanley Johnson.
Yeah, thank you.
Stanley Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody you bring in, see, what he looks like in practice, see if he can help you out. With this signing, if I'm correct, this means that they would have a full roster. So, that might affect, as we get closer to the trade deadline, if Juan Toscano Anderson is still on the roster, it might affect any kind of move you make in terms of how many players you can bring back.
Gotcha. I'll tell you one thing that I really came to admire about JTA when he was in Golden State. He can go long stretches without playing, and he's not a great player, but he plays hard. He'll knock down some shots. And he'll go a long stretch without playing. You plug him in, and he's going to give you everything he's got.
He's a pro,
well.
right?
Yeah.
He's one of those guys not going to complain about minutes or anything like that. Does what the coach asks him. And you said it. He plays hard, too, which I think this team needs.
All right. When we come right back, no wonder this NFL season has felt a little uneven. A staggering NFL quarterback stat for you. When we come right back to the Golden One Center, Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Kings tonight on Sactown Sports.
Monk starts left, goes right, up and down, move to the rack. Oh, what a drive to the basket.
It's the Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at 7 on your home for Sacramento Kings basketball. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Under partly cloudy skies, temperatures tonight will drop down to about 40. During the day tomorrow, we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds with highs near 60. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit. eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, and Metaltech in-store or at northerntool.com.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Does your dog leave frowny piles of poo around the yard? Did you know that a solid poo is one of the best indicators of your dog's gut health? Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food is made with organic super seaweed and other powerful antioxidants, supporting a healthy digestive system. Real protein is always the first ingredient, plus a blend of essential vitamins and minerals to help support your dog's overall health and well-being. Do their digestion a solid, literally. Find Supreme Source Premium Dog Food at Safeway, Save Mart, and Smart & Final, or a local grocery store near you.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
So the newest Sacramento King, Juan Toscano Anderson, acquired today. Apparently, Simone says he just tweeted, "Light the beam, man." So welcome aboard, Juan
Light
Toscano
the beam.
Anderson. Yeah. And we'll see if he ends up with the big club. A good character guy at the very least.
Yeah, good locker room guy.
Really good guy. One of those guys who really appreciates that he's even here.
Yeah, and he knows the system too. And
yeah, good point.
I would like to see him actually get a real shot.
Me too.
And see what he can do. You know, I don't know if that's a position in need. What is he? A 2-3? You think? What kind of?
He's more of a 3. Could play a little stretch 4. He's more of a wing, I think.
Yeah, more of a wing, right?
Yeah.
A tough position to crack. In Sacramento, but clearly they want to take a look at this guy, and so I would like to see him get, a week or two of run just to see what he can do.
I think he could give you what he gives you more consistently, frankly, than what we've seen from some of the guys that have been coming off the bench. I mean, I'm talking about Chris Duarte, okay? Chris Duarte. And
don't speak bad about my boy Chris Duarte. That's my guy.
I love Chris Duarte. He has not played as well as I hoped he would play at this point, and I'm sure he hasn't played as well as he'd hoped he would have played either. He's had his moments.
Yeah, he's had his moments, and I was shocked that he was basically out of the rotation.
Yeah,
because he was injured. Remember, he was out for a couple of days, and
but that's been one of the knocks on him.
Yeah, that is true. And then to get a DNP CD in that loss against the Clippers, it's what? Oh, he played 12 minutes when it was out of reach. But this was a guy that was in the rotation before he got hurt. Remember, he started a couple of games. And now, he barely can crack the rotation. So I think Mike Brown's still trying to figure it out, man. And here we are 22 games in, and that's concerning to me.
Do you think that Mike Brown needs to figure out what his rotation is and then stick with it? Or do you think, to a degree, the bench is always going to be mixing and matching based on the opponent and how guys are playing? Because I'm
going to give you a third option, too.
Okay. Because I know, as fans, we always say at any level, well, the coach has a rotation. Everyone has to play. And sometimes I think coaches look at it and go, that doesn't really necessarily help us.
I think in an ideal world, Mike Brown would have a rotation. But because of the inconsistency with everybody, that's why you're seeing him try to mix and match. And so in an ideal world, he'd have his top 9, his reliable 9, and given certain matchups, all right, we're going to play this guy tonight, or we're going to play that guy tonight. But I think because everybody has been wildly inconsistent coming off the bench outside of Malik Monk and Trey Lyles, I guess, those are your top 7. After that, everybody's been sort of interchangeable because they haven't played well on a consistent basis. Think about it. We saw Davion get more minutes than Keon Ellis last game. And I understand it was a blowout and things like that, but what does that tell us? And so you can look at the backup point guard position. You can look at the Sasha Bezenkov position. Whatever, guys just haven't been consistent enough to earn that trust and earn those minutes. And so if I'm Mike Brown, that's why you're seeing Chris Duarte in and out of the lineup, Sasha in and out of the lineup, Kessler Edwards. Like, I would like him to settle on 8 or 9 guys, but somebody has to go up there and take those reins and force his hand to be like, nope, I'm going to play you, Sasha, 20 minutes a night.
Jay and I were talking about this yesterday, and I said that, in my opinion, the 2 most interesting guys on the roster right now, not the best or the most fun, but most interesting given what they can give you and where they are with their playing time, I said Sasha and Davion Mitchell, because to me, they're 2 guys that still have great potential, and we're still trying to figure out what they are, and I think they could still have a lot to do with how good you are, whether they're here or not, whether they get moved or they're here and they develop. I think those 2 guys are still really the most interesting players on the roster, because I think they're key to the Kings getting better because of the potential that they have.
I agree with you on Sasha. I think Sasha has tremendous potential. I think we're only seeing about 30% of him so far, of what he can give this team. I think he could be a true rotation. Davion, I'm worried about. I'm a believer in who Davion is, and I'm a believer in his talents. But I question whether this is the best system for him. This is something I've echoed before. Under the previous regime, when it was Luke Walton and Alvin Gentry, it was a guard-dominated offense. You didn't have Sabonis to run through. You didn't have Sabonis to play off. I think Davion's at his best when he has the ball in his hands. And when Mike Brown came in, the system shifted, and I think Davion has probably had the biggest challenge with that more than any other player. No knock on him. I just think it doesn't play to his strengths. And so
I also think, to your point, I think, and a lot of people have been throwing this around, the fact that Mike Brown wants him to push pace more, that might not be a good fit for Davion's game.
Yeah, which it shouldn't be that hard, though, right? Push pace means, all right, let's run, get it up, pass it ahead, everything like that. That should be able to fit any system, right? But for some reason, it hasn't translated for Davion. And I like I said, the guy puts in the work. We were here, me and High Flyer, seeing this guy out here at 3:00.
Yeah, I think he still has value, even if the Kings, I don't know that they have, but if they decided, he's not a good fit here, I think he still has value
around the league.
Yeah,
I think so, but his value diminishes with each game that he's buried on the bench.
Sure.
And so I would like to see him play. And that's one of the things about Mike Brown that, I would like to see is, guys be able to play through mistakes. What was the game where JaVale McGee made a mistake and played 3 minutes? Remember that? It's like, I feel,
it was the New Orleans game.
Yeah, the New Orleans game. Yeah, New Orleans. I feel like guys, I'm not talking about the core guys, obviously. I'm talking about the guys who, are really battling for minutes, mostly Davion. At times, he's playing sort of scared to make a mistake out there, unsure of himself, and you see it manifesting.
It just doesn't work.
I would like to see Mike, all right, Davion, not necessarily say it, but give him a longer leash. You know what? I'm a rock with you. We're going to take some bumps and bruises, but in the long run, it's going to benefit us. Same thing with Sasha, I said. I would like Mike to invest 20 minutes a night in Sasha so that by the time March and April comes where you're making a push for the playoffs, he's no longer an NBA rookie. He's a guy that knows the league and is fully adjusted. And so that's what I would like to see. And so, but Mike is in the business of winning basketball games right now. And so he's going to put the guys out there who best help him win on this given day.
When we come right back, we'll revisit a potential Kings trade target. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Chrysler's Wrap Up the Year sales event?
This month, you can save up to $16,500 off MSRP on 2023 Ram 1500 crew cabs. With over 600 new Ram trucks available, your perfect new truck is waiting for you at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. Plus, no payments for 90 days.
Okay, but what about the last of the Dodge Chargers and the Challengers?
This month, save up to $5,000 off MSRP and get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2023 Dodge Charger SXTs and Challenger GTs with no payments for 90 days.
The savings and financing won't last long. Search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
16,500 total net savings after 10,261 factor rebates and 6,239 dealer discount. Sample VIN 699,991. Rebates include 1,000 case equipment cash. Must have purchased qualifying case equipment from authorized dealer and 500 first responder cash for members of eligible first responder association only. No payments for 90 days on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 5,000 total net savings after 5,000 dealer discount. Plus 0% financing for 72 months on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Equals $1,389 per thousand borrow. 10 of this net savings. See dealer for details.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
A couple of weeks ago, I had the honor to enjoy a conversation with PGA Tour player and U.S. Open winner Jim Furyk, who's also the first to shoot 58 in a PGA Tour event. We talked about junior golf, his experiences on tour, and plans for the future. He also revealed his commitment to a new golf shoe manufactured by Box Toe Golf. I took notice because when a person makes his living playing golf, he looks for advantages in preparation, equipment, and certainly his shoes, which are the only contact with the ground. Box Toe is a premium brand specializing in handcrafted leather golf shoes designed for players who demand quality, style, and performance. With full-grain leather upper and soft leather linings, the shoes offer unmatched comfort. They're a perfect blend of classic style and modern design. If Box Toe Legacy golf shoes and belts are good enough for Jim Furyk, they're good enough for me. Learn more at boxtoegolf.com. That's your golf to go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hold on to your Santa hats because Elk Grove Kia is turning up the holiday heat with deals that'll leave you saying no, no, no money down. This Christmas, keep your wallet at home because Elk Grove Kia is making your dreams come true with 0 down payment. That's right, absolutely nothing out of your pocket to drive home in a brand new Kia today. Or if you're ready to slay the season in style, picture this, the award-winning 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, the hottest sled in town, for just $439 per month plus tax. You heard it right, only $439. So whether it's the sleek 2024 Kia Telluride or the No money down offer. Elk Grove Kia says 0 hassles and 0 worries. ElkGroveKia.com. Qualified applicant 0 down. Example spot number GK9133 48 monthly 0 down model number C3422 right 24 monthly 439 plus tax 4495 deal signing social security plus residual 33,352 and year lease over GK9040 expires 12
Elk Grove Kia. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
And a lot to talk about with the Kings today. Of course, the Kings are returning to the Golden One Center, tipping off a 6-game homestand tonight against the OKC Thunder. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper back with us today after taking a few days to recuperate from the bird flu. We also have word today that the Kings are bringing in another wing, Juan Toscano-Anderson, and I think there's a little more to this than first meets the eye.
Really?
Well, just because of his familiarity with Mike Brown. And Juan Toscano-Anderson, he's not an NBA star, but he was a Warrior for a couple years there, 20 through 22.
Yep.
And then he went to the Lakers and Utah, and really he wasn't the same player out of this system, but he's familiar with Mike Brown's system at both ends of the floor. And his first couple years with the Warriors in that terrible year, 2019-2020, he shot from the three-point line 35%. The next year he shot 40%. Right. And then the year after that, he was at 32, the year the Warriors won it, and then last year he dropped off. But this is a guy who I know you like wingspan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Will Z Stats had some numbers, and thank you, Simone, for pointing these out. Juan Toscano-Anderson, wingspan, 6'10".
So he's 6'6".
6'6".
But the wingspan is 6'10".
Like a pterodactyl,
exactly.
baby.
And I like that. I think that's what you need on the wing position. You need guys with a huge wingspan. Back to your Jeremy Grant point earlier, 6'8", I think, 7'3" wingspan. Like, if I'm Monty McNair, those are the kind of guys I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about defensive positioning and everything. It's about shrinking the floor with your length. That's something the Pelicans do. That's something we've seen with the Clippers. And I think the Kings, maybe that's the kind of guy we should be looking for when we talk about trade targets and everything, guys who can help in that area.
Yeah. Juan Toscano-Anderson's a great story too. He's from Oakland. I think he wore number 95 because he lived on in his grandmother's house on 95th Avenue in Oakland, something like that. He plays very hard. And if Mike Brown or the Kings are at all concerned about the way the team has looked in these blowouts, I don't know. Sometimes you get blown out. It looks like you're not playing hard. If there's any concern the team hasn't been playing hard enough, well, Juan Toscano-Anderson is a guy, you never have to worry about that with him.
Yeah.
He's going to give you everything he's got.
Exactly. And that's what you need, man. I mean, you look at it, the results might not always be there, but as long as you know the effort and the caring is always there. And that's something that Juan Toscano-Anderson does.
Yeah.
I've seen him down here when the Warriors have come. He's always been friendly. Says hi to my son and everything, always, says what's up. It seems to be a good kid. And so, like I said, I hope we get to see him here over these next couple of weeks, get some minutes.
Yeah, really solid guy. Ultimately, even if he plays his best, he may improve the Kings incrementally. But we're wondering here what the Kings need to do to really improve dramatically enough where they're going to be contenders in the West the rest of the way. And the question we've been throwing around, everyone's been wondering about, do you stand pat? Do you hope for that internal improvement, or do you need to make a deal? Pardon me. And earlier we talked about a guy. I found a guy that Kyle just mentioned him, but I found a guy that I thought fit the bill for Kyle, and you could acquire him once he's available to be traded, which I think is in another month or so. You could trade, according to the trade machine, you could go Harrison Barnes and Davion to Portland for Jeremy Grant, and I almost had Kyle ready to snap up that.
I'm a fan of the player. I like the player. I like Jeremy Grant. I like his wingspan. I like his ability to hit the three. He's a better defender than the numbers indicate. But you got to give up multiple picks probably. You got to absorb his salary too.
Yeah.
He's got,
But I wouldn't have to worry about him leaving next year like I would with Siakam and Anunoby.
Yeah, that's true. But then that you're married to that. That's your squad. Jeremy Grant, DeMontis Sabonis, Keegan Murray, and De'Aaron Fox.
Hello.
That's your 4. Is that a championship 4? You see? So you bring
I'm
up
trying
the
to
guy,
sell you on it.
No,
I don't think I would do it, but I'm trying to get you to climb up.
I want to know what you believe, Whitey. Is this the guy that puts us over the hump?
I don't think he is, and he's a fine player, but this was the case even during the summer. There were a lot of people that said, oh, go get this guy. And he re-signed with Portland for a lot of money, and bless him. To me, he's a guy that is at his best when he's not taking a lot of shots. A couple years ago with OKC, and I think it might have been when they had, Paul George and Russ and everybody, and he didn't take a lot of shots, and he was a really effective player. Since then, he's been with Detroit, Portland, and he's a high scorer. But I need somebody who can rebound better and do more of the dirty work. Score a little bit. I think I want a 4, legitimate 4, and he's more of a 3. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Nice player, but I'm not crazy about his fit here.
What I'm afraid of, though, and I understand your concern, I did mention he's 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah.
And, when you look at, Harrison Barnes is 6'8", same size, right? What's Jeremy Grant listed at?
I believe he's also 6'8".
Yeah. So, you don't get that size factor that you talk about in terms of, a 6'10" guy or anything like that.
He's listed as 6'7", actually.
6'7".
Yeah.
Bam. There you go. The problem that we're running into, there aren't a lot of those guys that we're looking for out there. Somebody mentioned Jared Allen, I think, in the YouTube chat or in the text line. I can't remember. But I don't know if you compare Jared Allen and DeMontis Sabonis. I just don't know about that. What about having a guard?
I don't think you could.
Yeah, exactly. So who's this unicorn we're looking for that we want Monte McNair to go out there and get? And this is, the issue that he might have to face, as he gets to the trade deadline.
Well, I don't know if you can believe everything you read. And I was talking to Sam Amick a couple days ago about how these things work. And, I guess when you read somebody write something about how this team's believed to be this or that, a lot of times there's more they can't really say, but there's more to it. So my point is, you read that the Pacers may be all in on somebody this year. The Pacers are feeling like Anunoby or Siakam, they may want to do that. We're not hearing that about the Kings, right? We know that they could, they're looking at it, but the reporting suggests the Pacers really want to do something. My point again here is, I think we talk about him all the time. Anunoby, to me, fits the Kings perfectly. I just don't think I'm willing to pick up the risk of not having him around next year and it's not even a full season. I would have him for most of this year. But you say, who is the guy in terms of his ability? I think he's the guy. I was talking to Henry, and I don't know that Henry sold on him, but I think he'd be a really, really good fit at both ends.
I agree with you, but when you look at OG, long wingspan, another guy with a long wingspan.
He's all the guys we talk about, I think he's the best defender. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're probably right about that. How would you acquire him, though? Without, like you said, the assurances that you're going to resign him. You're not going to give up assets and then he walks out the door and you risk losing him because of free agency. Do you wait until after the season and do some sort of sign and trade? That could be an option as well. And so that might, to me, be more likely to see happen because if he becomes a free agent, Toronto is going to lose him anyway. Maybe you don't have to give up as much. You don't have to give up the 2 first-round picks to go get a guy like OG. And so I think it's more likely for the Kings that it happens in the offseason. But if I'm Toronto, I might be inclined come February to make a move. And if you're Sacramento, are you giving up the 2 first-round picks that Toronto wants for just a shot at keeping OG? That's scary to me. I don't think I'd do that. And so you're in a precarious position if you're Monte McNair, or you stand pat, let this continue to grow, and take a crack at it in the offseason.
I think that's what they'll do, but it's going to be so tempting if one of those guys is, you find out that, wow, okay, we can do this deal. They would do it. This guy we can acquire him and all the risk. Do we do it or do we not? I think Monty is the type that will take the slow and steady approach, and I think it's the wisest approach, but it's going to be very tempting if the Kings are in position to add somebody now, and then we'll see down the road, assume that risk.
Yeah, and
a lot of fans would be, yes, do it,
do it.
You were kind of saying that earlier today, and it might have been the cold medicine talking.
Yeah, it might have been that Advil and that Sudafed and everything that I'm hopped up on right now. But one thing we know about Monte McNair, he won't be pressured into anything. All his moves that he's made have sort of been
calculated.
Exactly.
I agree.
Against the popular opinion kind of moves, going out there and getting Domantas Sabonis. And so who's a guy that maybe is flying under the radar that nobody's really talking about? As I'm looking at Bleacher Report, their list of guys that, likely to be moved. Jeremy Grant's on that list at number 8. You got Malcolm Brogdon on there, DeMar DeRozan.
I think it's the Ringer. They love Grant's fit with the Kings.
Really?
Yeah. Just as a high score. And they look at him as a guy who can help the Kings get back to what they were last year offensively.
Yeah. I like him, but not at that price. It's interesting because Bleacher Report has Karl Anthony Towns as a guy that potentially could be moved. I don't see that, right?
Yeah.
You're not buying that? You're not?
I've been thinking that.
Yeah. And this just came out, too. This is a new article. I don't know what they're thinking right now. This just came out November. Well, not new, but November 10th, a month ago. And they're saying, what about Bojan Bogdanović from Detroit?
Could he guard a bank? Could he guard a bank if you gave him a gun and a whistle?
Probably
I don't know if
probably
he could.
Not, probably. But that's what I'm saying. There are no easy answers out here. OG is probably your best answer.
I think
out
so.
of all this.
I think so. I think he is. And I think some of them are easy. I think it's tempting, but it's like, no, like to me, Zach LaVine, I think we disagree on this. To me, that's an easy one. It's an easy no for me.
I like Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine, I mentioned it earlier, when you look at the Clippers and some of these other teams, guys who can, single-handedly win you a game. To me, Zach LaVine's in there. Sure, he hasn't won in Chicago, Minnesota, but I think in the right system, with the right guys, with the right head coach, he can really flourish and become a big-time player on a big-time stage. The problem with Sacramento is you may have to overpay in the trade market to go out there and get somebody.
Because it's going to be competitive
Because it's
for
going
the
to be
right guys.
competitive for the right guy. And, I know we got Malik Monk in free agency, but the top-tier free agents historically haven't come to Sacramento. So an OG Anunoby, if you want to sign him, your best chance might be trading for him now instead of trying to wait till the offseason.
How much would you be willing to give up if you had a chance to get Caruso? Hold on, we'll get your answer. How much would you be willing to give up if you could get Alex Caruso? We're right back with that here. Also, we'll look at how much money Draymond's suspension is going to cost him and how much money it's actually going to save the Warriors next year from the Golden One Center with the Drive Guys. Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of the American spirit. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
5 guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Question to you, Kyle Draper, is how much would you be willing to give up if you're the Sacramento Kings to acquire the services of Alex Caruso, if you could do so? How much would you be willing to give up? Because that's a guy that we know can help you and could be available. We don't know for sure that he is.
I'd be willing to give up a first-round pick for Alex Caruso.
Picking a player, maybe?
Picking a player.
I would too.
I would do that because we also, Kings fans, got to understand too, when we're looking at our picks now that you're a playoff team and hopefully a perennial playoff team, that's not going to be lottery picks you're giving up.
Yeah, but other teams know that too.
Other teams know that too. But, maybe it's a 22 pick, 24 pick or something like that in terms of position in the draft. In the not a lottery pick anymore. And so those first-round picks that we used to have had way more value, not as much value anymore. But I think Alex Caruso is just what this team needs. He could play alongside De'Aaron Fox, move De'Aaron off the ball. He could defend at a high level. He can knock down shots. He's a competitor. I mean, he's everything we want Davion Mitchell to be, if you know what I mean. Like, we hope Davion could eventually one day turn into Alex Caruso. And so I would be willing to give up a first-round pick for him.
According to Shams of The Athletic, quote, a bevy of teams has been expressing interest in trading for Bulls utility star Alex Caruso, league sources say, but the franchise has shut down those calls.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the Bulls doing? Like, they got to do something, right? They need to hit the reset. They need to start the rebuild. They should take a page out of Oklahoma City and some of these other teams, Utah, and make deals, bottom out, get the high draft picks, get multiple cracks at the lottery. I'm not sure what they're doing right now.
That was 3 days ago. 2 days ago, Chicago Tribune says Bulls reportedly scour landing spots for Zach LaVine, weigh options for Caruso and DeMar DeRozan.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Okay. DeRozan, no need here, though, right?
Right. Fine player.
Yeah,
but
fine player. But timeline and all that doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. But Alex Caruso, you could argue he's probably their best asset out there in Chicago, because DeRozan has the issues that we just talked about, the age, or the fit. Zach LaVine, some people say he's not a winner. He comes with a big contract. And so maybe, Alex Caruso is the guy. If I'm Monty, obviously OG, but Alex Caruso, that's the guy I'm going at.
What about when Monty calls you up, says, Kyle, are you okay? I know you've been under the weather. And you say, yeah, I'm good. He says, all right, Jeremy Grant, what do I do? Help me out, Kyle. What do I do?
I'm going to take a pass on Jeremy Grant.
Okay.
I am going to say, Monty, a nice player, but signing to Jeremy Grant, trading for him hamstrings you in terms of salary and everything. I just don't like it.
I'm going to say, for me, that I'm not crazy about it, but I'm going to put it the back burner now. Put it at the bottom of my list, and I do want to revisit it before the deadline comes and goes. I want to revisit it, but right now,
all right,
I want to see what else is available.
Okay.
That's not the best thing, but let me just park it and see what else is available.
And if you're Monty McNair, I'll ask you, do you get desperate come trade deadline? Do you have to make a move in February?
In my opinion, only if my owner puts that pressure on me, and I have no idea whether they will or not. But to me, if I'm Monty, that's the only way I start to feel that pressure is if, and you could understand if ownership says, you know what, we got a thing here and we could do something this year and you need to make it happen now. And that's just pure speculation.
But me as the impatient fan that I am, I want something to happen now.
Like, I know, but you know what? You waited 17 years to make the playoffs. And I know you're going to be impatient, but I know you're going to hang with me. You've proven that. And I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that.
I don't know. I'm hearing from impatient fans right now, though.
What are you going to do? Go root for the Warriors?
That's definitely not happening, right?
Right.
The Warriors are sinking. But when you look at it, people are freaking out over double-digit losses to the Clippers. Like the expectations have risen now. And so if you're Monty, you got to hear these whispers. Fortunately, we know Monty doesn't pay attention to that outside noise. He sticks to his guns and and does what he think is best. But when you look at the West, is it wide open right now? Let me ask you this. As great as Denver is it wide open now?
It's wide open, but I'm not sure you're in that group of teams that it's wide open to.
Right now.
Right now, yes. I agree.
If you make a move, can you get into that mix? That's, before, OKC becomes a juggernaut or Phoenix or whoever else may be, that next dynasty, you got to position yourself to be in it for the next 3, 4, or 5 years. Who's that player that does it? I don't think Jeremy Grant does it. I think an OG Anunoby helps you in that regard.
Except OG, I don't know how long I'll have him, and Grant I would have around for a few years. Yeah, well, it's going to be a tough one, and we'll see. Maybe Indiana may be that team that is feeling that desperation to do something now. That's what's being suggested.
Let me ask you this, because Scooter916 just brought up an interesting name here on the YouTube chat. Just saw a tweet from NBA Central. First of all, NBA Central, I don't buy the stuff that they're saying, but they bring up an interesting name.
So they're not really related to the NBA.
No, it's not. No, it's one of those,
Yeah.
John Collins.
What are his numbers this year? I don't think I'm interested. The Hawks, he should have been a great player for the Hawks, and they moved off him because they wanted to pay him a lot of money.
26 years old.
Yeah.
So that's relatively young.
The other thing is, if you look at pictures of what happened to his finger,
I didn't see that.
Brutal.
Is it really?
Yeah, he broke his finger and it didn't heal right or something. But that's water under the Old Bay Bridge.
So $26.5 million next year, then a player option the following year, $26.5. So
what's he doing? Do you know what he's doing this year?
Yeah, I got his numbers right here. Let's take a look. John Collins this season on Basketball Reference. He is averaging 14.5 points, 8.6 rebounds, not bad, 38% from three. Sign me up.
My work. That might work.
In this system, he's a guy that can play alongside Sabonis. He's a lob threat as well.
And they would move him for draft picks, theoretically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to call Danny Ainge right now and be like, Danny, what's it going to take to get John Collins to Sacramento? Let's do that.
We got to get Danny Ainge on the show. Former King, former Sacramento.
Yeah, we should.
All right. Yeah. Who said?
Oh, man, we play Utah Saturday, too. I wonder tomorrow if we should try and get him.
He's been on the station before. It's been a while. Who did you say came up with that? Was that Scooter916?
Scooter916 put that out.
All
there.
right. And I've been anti him in the past, but yeah, I'm open to that. By the way, speaking of money and the Warriors, Draymond Green, according to Bobby Marks, Draymond Green is going to lose $153,941 per game if he is suspended fewer than 20 games. Fewer than 20 costs him $153,000 a game. If it's more than 20 games, he will lose $202,922 per game.
Per game, you said?
Wow. Game. Yeah, and this is interesting. With Green suspended, the team will save on its luxury tax. At the minimum, Warriors will save $519,000 towards the tax for every game Green is suspended. And there's also a roster implication there. According to the CBA, if Green's suspension lasts for 6 games or longer, they could transfer him to the suspended list, and that would drop the number of active roster members from 14 to 13, and that would open up a spot to sign another player. So it's going to cost Draymond some money, and the Warriors are going to
save some money.
A little bit.
What's their tax bill? They're like, what, $400 million or something like that?
$4 billion.
Right. It's something crazy. It's something crazy.
Yeah.
But, what's interesting about Draymond and the Warriors, and I don't understand why they defend this guy to the death. I understand he helped win you 4. But you could argue he cost you 2.
Oh, yeah.
Like you could have had 6 championships if it wasn't for Draymond's antics. And so, this suspension, whatever it's going to be this year, this puts the nail in the coffin of the Warriors, in my opinion. They're done for this season. We saw the other night they're playing. Clay's getting benched in the 4th. Wiggins getting benched.
Oh, yeah. It's all unraveling.
It's unraveling for them. Now Draymond's out indefinitely. And Kendrick Perkins had an interesting tweet. He said, rescue Steph, or somebody, basically, Somebody help
Get Steph out of there.
Get Steph
Yeah.
out of there, because having to deal with this nonsense in the twilight of his career, Steph Curry should go out better than what we're about to see here in Golden State.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the problem, I think, for the Warriors, is that Steph has been one of the people that always wanted Draymond there.
Yeah. He's always
like
defended
his,
him. That's his guy. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it's, I mentioned it. They could have 6 rings by now if it wasn't for Draymond. He cost them last year, arguably, with the Jordan Poole incident. And now this year, they're going to be out of the mix. However, as much as we talk about Draymond in basketball, they are a better team when he plays. The numbers indicate it. I think they're 3-7 or something like that when he's out this season so far. And so this is going to hurt them big time.
By the way, there's a guy you could probably get, Jordan Poole, if you want him.
Oh, shoot.
He's probably get him.
For cheap, too, other than that contract, right? 2nd-round pick and a bag of donuts. Take this guy.
Yeah.
We'll see him on Monday, as a matter of fact. The Wizards come to town.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
When we come right back looking around the NBA, what in the world is going on in Detroit and San Antonio with the Drive Guys from the Golden One Center on Sactown Sports?
Catch the Kings tonight on Sactown Sports.
Monk starts left, goes right, up and down, move to the rack. Oh, what a drive to the basket.
It's the Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at 7 on your home for Sacramento Kings basketball. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Under partly cloudy skies, temperatures tonight will drop down to about 40. During the day tomorrow, we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds with highs near 60. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit.
Discover Roseville's hidden gem. Timbers at the Lodge, nestled in the Timber Creek Golf Course. Savor a culinary journey where every bite tells a story. We serve breakfast 7 days a week with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m., where you can relax on the outdoor patio next to our newly renovated and expanded putting green. Thursdays always feature our $28 prime rib dinner. Reservations encouraged. Learn more at timbersatTheLodge.com. We look forward to welcoming you to Timbers at the Lodge, where exceptional food meets great times.
Ho, ho, ho! Greetings, plant-loving families. Celebrate over a century of green thumb magic with E.B. Stone.
Even a Grinch like me can't resist the magic of E.B. Stone.
Dive into planting bliss with Edna's best indoor and outdoor potting soil. Your little plants will flourish into jolly companions for the holidays.
They might even warm this Grinch's heart.
Visit ebstone.org for tips, products, and festive locations near you, wishing you a season of joy and flourishing greenery. Ho, 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 ho!
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Believe it, but he and who was it? Scooter 916 talked me into saying yes. John Collins is a guy. Let's get John Collins. I was like, yeah. And I asked you about his finger. I'm going to show you a picture of John Collins' finger, okay? And this is just like it didn't heal. There's no blood here, but this is a picture of it. He injured it again. This finger be like his ring finger on his right hand, and we'll hear your reaction there.
Ooh.
And I don't know.
That's just how it is now?
Unless it's gotten better.
Oh, my gosh.
What do you think, RJ? What do you think of that finger? And I believe that's a right-handed player we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know.
All right. Despite his finger, we still take him, though.
Yeah. That thing must not have healed right and then it calcified or something. And then, hey, wow. Okay. Oh, good for him. Right. Are you feeling good about this matchup tonight as the youngsters on both squads are warming up?
No, not really. I think OKC is playing at an extremely high level right now. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is virtually unguardable. I think they have some toughness with the Jalen Williams, Lou Dort as well. Mm-hmm. I think this is a complete OKC team that just needs some experience. And so I think this is going to be a tough matchup tonight. Like, I know we beat them earlier without De'Aaron Fox. I know Domantas Sabonis has owned them in his career. I know the Kings have won, 8 in a row, I think, against these guys, or 6 in a row, 7 in a row. But this is a tough team we're facing tonight.
What's really impressive to me about the Thunder, real quick, and we'll move on because I know this isn't, the Thunder pregame, but we know how hard it is in a small market to put together a competitive team. And the Thunder and Sam Presti, of course, they got Durant, they got Westbrook, and they nearly won a championship. They got to the finals. They got the conference finals. They lose Durant. They got nothing for him, right? He left as a free agent. They hung in there a little bit with Russ, and they got Paul George. And then they had to build another team, and they're on the verge of being a contender again with a totally different team in a relatively short amount of time. And for somebody to do that in a small market, and they have all these draft picks, I think it's really impressive.
It is impressive, but I could argue also that they're probably the most underachieving team franchise we've seen over the last 10 to 15 years. You just mentioned all the great players that they've had come through, and they've only been to the finals once. Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Kevin Durant.
They had Carmelo for a while.
Carmelo, Chris Paul, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They've had some great players come through this franchise and just haven't been able to get over the hump. I will say this OKC team, we talk about who's that next dynasty, that they're in great position to be that team. Once the Denvers fall off, once the Lakers and the Suns,
right.
Those guys, like, they're the second youngest team in the NBA, Whitey, behind the San Antonio Spurs. Think about that. They're the second youngest team in the NBA, but yet here they are, third, I think, in the West right now. I mean, it's unbelievable. Second in the West, 15-7. And so this is a tough matchup, man.
It's a real success story. However, on the other end of the spectrum, if you look at the NBA standings, we know last year, because teams wanted to get Wemby, there were teams that were tanking. This year, there's not supposed to be tanking teams, or at least not as many. So then how do you explain this? In the Western Conference right now, you have at the very bottom, the team that got Wemby, the San Antonio Spurs. They fell to the Lakers last night. They are 3-20. They have lost 18 in a row. 18 in a row. Remember when they took 2 from the Suns back-to-back? Hey, they might be a playoff team. They've lost 18 in a row. And then at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, of course, you have Monty Williams, got that huge contracted coach there. And the Pistons are 2-22. And they have lost, after falling to Philly last night, 21 games in a row. What is going on? I believe those are the 2 highest paid coaches in the NBA right now.
Wow. Let me start with the Spurs. I don't know if you watched them last night.
A little bit. Saw the end of the game.
What Greg Popovich is doing to Victor Wembanyama is criminal.
Really?
It is criminal. With that roster and not having a point guard, like, I feel, Wemby's doing the best he can. He may even be Rookie of the Year.
And he had a big game last night.
And he had a big
30-11
game. But they are without a rudder right now. They're a car without an engine. They're just out there rolling. Like, they have no flow, no system. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish. He had the Jeremy Sohan experiment at point guard earlier this season. Trey Jones, the only legitimate point guard on their roster. What they're doing to Victor Wembanyama is criminal, in my opinion. Like, if they had, and I'm not saying this guy, but somebody, a Chris Paul. Shoot, if you would have had a Tyus Jones, who Memphis traded away in that Marcus Smart 3-team deal. Like, if you had Tyus Jones, your team would be better. They got a bunch of ingredients, but they don't have a spoon to stir it. They don't have anything that can bring it all together. Right. And that is criminal what's happening in San Antonio right now.
Yeah. As for the Pistons, 21 straight losses. The record for consecutive losses in a single year is 26. All time, if you include going from one season into the next, it's 28. And that was the, Tankathon Sixers lost. I think they held both those records, 26 in a row and 28 in a row. And that's within reach for this team, right? 21 straight losses for a Pistons team with a new coach. And they got Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick a few years ago. They got some young talent, and they're horrible.
They are horrible. And did you see, didn't they play, or it might have been Washington. Who did the Sixers beat last night?
Sixers beat the Pistons.
Yeah, beat the Pistons. Joel Embiid had 30 points and 10 rebounds at the half of that game. You would think, all right, let's double Joel. Let somebody, He kept feasting on them. And when you look at the Pistons schedule, tell me where they got to win. Tell me where they get a win right here.
All right.
At Philly.
No.
At Milwaukee.
No.
At Atlanta.
Don't see it.
Versus Utah at home. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, they got a shot.
Brooklyn. At Brooklyn.
No.
Probably not.
Nope.
Home against Brooklyn. Probably not.
Probably not.
At Boston. Toronto. You see what I'm saying? So to your point, this could easily turn into 27, 28 straight losses.
Yeah.
If you're Detroit.
Utah is 1-11 on the road. 1-11 on the road. So maybe that's it. I just don't understand how that happened. I'll be honest. I thought they might be on the upward trend this year because they do have some young players. They got, don't they have Oscar Thompson?
Thompson.
Yeah.
Yep. And you mentioned Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren.
Right.
Bogdanovich. Like they have Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart. So they have some talent. I don't know what's happening. Are they tanking again? Like, you talk about a franchise that's been a dumpster fire, for the last decade or so. I mean,
and I like Monty. You probably know him. I don't know him, but it's unfortunate. I've been pulling for him, and I thought, he's going to do some good things there.
No, he's after every game, he hops in the car, opens up his app, checks his bank account, and he's like, hey, everything's A-okay, homie.
We're good, guys.
We're good. Oh, man, because he's making a grip. Like, what's he making? Like, $9 million? It's something crazy that they paid him per year. And so I know he's trying to build something there, but there's no way that team should be as bad as they are right now.
Yeah. Monty Williams signed a 6-year deal with Detroit for $78,500,000.
Look at that.
Annual average salary of
$13 million a year to coach that roster. Oh my gosh. Wow. He might be trying to get fired or something. Like, just write me my check and I'm out of here. Seriously.
Yeah, he might end up getting more than $1 million for each of their wins this year.
$1 million per win.
Yeah. Pulling for him. Yeah. Long ways to go, though. Still early in the season, right? Still early in the season. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, hey, a lot of people have been talking about this 49er MVP thing. Kyle Shanahan actually answered the question, who's the better MVP candidate, Purdy or CMC? His answer is next year with the drive, guys, from the Golden One Center on Sactown Sports.
The 49ers have secured their playoff berth, and now they chase the NFC's top seed.
Purdy out of the shotgun, looks left, throws end zone. Caught! George Kittle in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Check out all the 49ers games with Greg Papa and Tim Ryan.
On your home for the playoff-bound 49ers. Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Under partly cloudy skies, temperatures tonight will drop down to about 40. During the day tomorrow, we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds with highs near 60. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
It's Kia's season of giving back at Folsom Lake Kia. Get low year-end prices and payments, plus low finance rates and even zero down deals with approved credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Yep, 'tis the season. Hi, if you're like me, you take pride in your gift giving. Well, I've got a terrific idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift free from the Good Feet store. If you have someone on your list who's on their feet all day, has sore feet, knee, hip, or back pain, or even plantar fasciitis, maybe needs an energy boost, or just wants to maintain their active lifestyle, a Good Feet arch support gift card could be the perfect gift.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Hey there, listen up, Sacramento. Ready to make this holiday season unforgettable? Well, we've got something that'll have you jingling all the way. Picture this, a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for only $279 per month plus tax with no money down. No, I did not stutter. No money down. That's right. Zip, zero, nada. Elk Grove Kia is spreading the joy this Christmas, and we're making it easier than ever for you to drive home in style. So why wait? I will say it again. Head on down to Elk Grove Kia and drive home your new 2024 Kia Forte LXS today with absolutely no money down. Elk Grove Kia is your go-to destination for top-notch quality and unbeatable service. Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or go to elkgrovekia.com. Plus tax, zero customer cash signing residual of 10,000 per day, 250 days and 10K per year. $6 per mile over zero security. Since the entry level subject requires help.
Elk Grove Kia. eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because you know, mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, and Metaltech in-store or at northerntool.com.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Whitey Gleason, Rip Hamilton coming to you from the Golden One Center. And we're just talking about hoops, watch the players warm up, and Drape said that there was something that he did mid-game, kind of like Rip Hamilton, right? You said you're
mid-range jumper. Yeah. Me, Rip, DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, sure. All of us. Yep.
Yeah. Some people on the chat here asked some questions about Jaden Ivey. We were just talking about the Pistons and this crazy situation. Of course, a lot of people thought Jaden Ivey would be coming here. And some people are wondering, hey, is he even playing there? And I think Monty finally started playing him again, but I believe he sat him down for a little bit.
Yeah. And, I like Jaden Ivey. I think he's a talent. I don't think he's a talent in Detroit. And so I'm looking at the YouTube chat, people ripping up.
Yeah.
We didn't take
He didn't want to come here.
Yeah, and all that. We've talked about it before, Whitey. Fit is so important in the NBA. And when you look at the Pistons, right now, they're the dregs of the NBA. Like, it's Siberia, basically. You get drafted there, how many lottery picks have they had over the years that just haven't panned out?
Right.
Is it all those players' fault?
Killian Hayes and Sadiq Bey.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is it the Pistons, the organization, and their development and things like that? And so, I feel for Jaden Ivey, man. I think he's a talent.
Oh, we got another comment. Somebody wondering about PJ Tucker. Hey, what? PJ Tucker. Oh, word is he's not happy in LA. What about PJ Tucker? I think PJ Tucker is just done. He's spent
38 years old.
He's had a great career. And those years in Houston where he had to do all the dirty work when they had the micro ball lineups.
Yep.
I just don't know if he can help you anymore.
Yeah, I think his time has passed. 38 years old. 3-and-D guy, but the 3 has failed him as of late. Let me.
No, he was a pretty good corner shooter. We were
talking about that exactly. This season, shooting 31% from 3 this season, and so I just think his best days are clearly behind him. He's not the answer. We already got the answer. Alex Caruso, right? We both. That's the one player universally I think everybody agrees on.
And I think we have Anunoby, all things considered, second, and then maybe Grant.
Maybe
on the list.
Grant, maybe Grant. But Alex Caruso and OG, you could somehow get both those guys. Oh, come on, man. That's a slam dunk for Monty McNair.
Beamer, Beams, or Beamley says, JTA, very interesting. We talked about Juan Toscano-Anderson, the newest Sacramento King. A real feel-good story. It's such a great story. And a guy that, he's not going to transform your lineup or anything. but he's a good fit with the system, and he hasn't been the same actually since he left the Warrior/Mike Brown system.
Yeah, and I think, with his familiarity with the system out there in Golden State, he would be a good fit. Why not take a flyer on this guy? 30 years old. I think you said his wingspan was 6'10".
Yeah,
I think, a guy that works hard, plays hard, can get after it defensively, can knock down some shots. And so, I would love to see Sacramento bring him in and actually give him a real shot, because right now we mentioned it. Mike Brown's searching for something off that bench. And maybe Juan Toscano Anderson is that guy, a veteran, a guy that's been on big stages before, high-level teams. And so why not give him a shot?
Yeah, he's played in the finals. He's played on, big-time playoff games. And he plays hard, and you have a good sense of what you're going to get from him. And it's not going to, as I say, it's not going to change your team, but there's what he gives you. He's going to give that to you every night. And every so often, he's going to knock down a lot of three balls. So he could be a really good fit. Speaking of systems here, Brock Purdy system quarterback, that's probably going to be a conversation forever. But some people say, MVP, he can't be the MVP because he's a system quarterback. Well, Kyle Shanahan answered a question that we have kicked around here. A lot of football fans have been kicking around. Yesterday, he was asked, who you got, MVP, Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey? How would you, if you're Kyle Shanahan, how would you answer that? If you're the coach of the team.
That's tough. That's tough. I would probably lean towards Brock in the way I answer it, because I feel like Brock is the butt of a lot of jokes. He takes a lot of criticism. CMC, everybody knows how great he is. So to build up Brock's, confidence, not that it needs to be, but to let him know, hey, you're my guy, I would lean towards Brock.
Shanahan said, are you trying to get me in trouble with those two guys? He said, that's the only reason I wouldn't overly comment on either one of them. I don't want them to cancel each other out. But he goes on to say, and this is key to this whole question, if you care who the MVP is going to be, if any non-quarterback's going to get an MVP, I don't get how Christian McCaffrey can't. That's what Shanahan said.
Okay.
In other words, it's always a quarterback, right? It's going to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
He said, he's amazing at what he has done all year. If it's going to be a quarterback, then I don't have to talk about Christian. I can talk about our quarterback. If his numbers is all you see, then I think that solves it up. But if you watch the film, then it makes it even stronger, which to me is the most important thing. So Kyle's down with either guy, but I think he's right. Yeah, McCaffrey or the receiver with the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Those guys just aren't going to get it. It's a quarterback award, period. Rightly or wrongly.
Could this be the 1 year, though, that it does happen? Because
I know where you're going. Go ahead. Yeah.
No.
Because why?
No, I'm just saying, because there's a segment that doesn't believe in Brock, say he is a system quarterback, he benefits. And really the only other competition is Dak Prescott. Like when we talk about quarterback, is Lamar Jackson in the combo for MVP? I haven't heard a whole lot. If not, he should be probably.
He's in, he's in the odd. He's fairly high up, but he's not considered a favorite.
But
we still have 4 games left, so
there's no overwhelming. Oh, this guy is definitely the guy. Brock Purdy, there's going to be knocks on. It just is what it is. Same thing with Dak Prescott. As great as he's playing, it's still Dallas. It's still he has weapons. It's still their regular season team. And so I don't know if there are people who are buying into Dak Prescott. So I bring this up to be like, well, maybe this is the 1 year. You know what? It's going to hurt the Dolphins.
You're couching it, but I know what you're saying.
Brock
Purdy sucks, so you got to give it to somebody else.
Whitey, you know what he's basically saying? What I'm hearing is he's saying it's a co-MVP. So I appreciate where you're going there, Drapes.
Nice.
No,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Drapes.
All I'm hearing is
go ahead and put co-MVP out there.
Feelings right here. I'm trying to make a legitimate discussion here, and you guys are turning it into Brock Purdy this or that. I'm just saying, nationally, this might be the year where, you know what?
You know what I mean?
It's no, based on numbers, yes, but there is a segment, including myself, who don't believe in Brock Purdy and who would not vote Brock Purdy MVP.
That's great. Instead of saying I wouldn't vote him MVP,
I'm not by myself.
There is a segment of which I am part.
Am I alone?
No, you're not.
You're not. My criticism and not believing in Brock Purdy? No. I'm a tip of the ice. Like there's a mountain of people who don't believe in Brock.
So
Jay
Drake,
wouldn't chime in. Jay
look,
chime in a damn thing about Kings talk. But as soon as Brock Purdy come up, hey guys, hold on now. Hey, go ahead, Jay.
I'm just asking if I could clarify this. So what I'm saying is, because this is a down year, but because Brock Purdy is one of the leading candidates when it comes to the MVP, and he's the quarterback, and we don't believe in that quarterback. You know what? Let's take a look. This is going to be the odd year where we could give it to a wide receiver. Just because Brock Purdy is one of those leading QBs.
Exactly. He's trying to couch it and try to spread his arms out like, yeah.
I'm not the
doing
only
a lot
one.
of hugging over there, huh?
No,
Whitey is what you're saying.
I'm not the only one, because there will be some people who don't vote for Brock Purdy out of spite.
Dak will get it if they finish ahead of your team. If they don't, if they fold,
right?
Which the Cowboys have done, then I think he will get it. Thank you, G-Man. Appreciate that. Actually, those are for you.
I know. Yeah, I'm parched over here. Thank you. Oh,
let me give you a scenario real quick, fellas. You bring something up interesting there, Whitey. Let's say Dallas has most people consider it a tough schedule. They got Miami. They got a couple other teams. Let's just say they lose twice in the next 4 weeks.
They got Buffalo too, right?
And Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
They lose twice in the next 4 weeks. The Niners don't lose, and Brock Purdy stays on the same schedule, same numbers. He does what he's doing. He's throwing for 250, 275 plus yards, passer ratings through the roof. It breaks Montana's over 100, 8 games in a row type situation. And the Niners finish with the number 1 seed. And let's say Tyreek Hill does not get 2,000 yards because now he seems like he's a little banged up.
Right.
Is that not Brock Purdy MVP? Who do you give it to, Drake?
It should be, yes. I think so, yes. By default, because nobody else is stepping up.
He will need something like that to hang for the voters to hang their helmets on. Like, Brock Purdy was you mentioned the Montana record. I think he should be the MVP anyway. We'll see what happens. But I think for voters to go all the way and say, all right, he's the MVP, I think there's going to have to be some statistical record that he breaks or sets for them.
But the problem, guys, if we're being real, and Jay,
you are being real.
I want you to chime in on, if we are being real, Brock Purdy's not even the MVP of his own team.
That's false.
That's agreed. I agree.
There you go.
I agree. I think McCaffrey is.
I think CMC is the MVP.
I would say McCaffrey
of the San Francisco 49ers. Whitey's trying. He's trying.
Go ahead, Whitey. Get your drapes on. Put your arms. Spread them out.
It's okay.
Spread them out, Whitey. Spread your arms out.
You're not going to disagree either.
Well, yes, I am. I am going to disagree. Yeah, I think Brock Purdy makes Christian McCaffrey better. I think all those guys, and I'm not dodging the question because I stand by what I said. Debo and McCaffrey and Trent Williams and Brock and Ayuk, your guy, they make each other better. They all do. And it's silly that some people say, well, Debo would still have the great year no matter where. And McCaffrey, I mean, we saw he wasn't the same player in Carolina. But if you take Brock out, he's terrible. No, he's having a great year, Brock Purdy is.
No, he's having a fantastic year. But I go back to, my argument all season long. The Niners' fortunes changed not when Brock Purdy became the quarterback. It's when they traded for CMC.
Well, yeah.
Look at Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers with CMC.
Brock Purdy hadn't even played a game last year. He had not played.
But they were already the winning streak had already started.
I know.
They had already been rolling.
I understand
Jimmy Garoppolo had 9 touchdowns and 1 interception in games he played with CMC.
My point is, and I know we got to take a time out, Brock Purdy has gotten a lot better than he was when he came in, and he did benefit from McCaffrey, but he's gotten better since then. So that's why
that's a debate we're going to have. Maybe tomorrow's show. That's a
how can you say he hasn't gotten better?
No, I'm talking about the MVP of the team.
All right.
I think CMC changed everything for this team. And the numbers back it up.
I think
Look
they
when they started winning. They lost the first game CMC played, and ever since then, they've been rocking and rolling.
Yes, because he's got Trent Williams. I think they all. It is for some reason the rising tide floats all boats. But I think Brock doesn't get enough credit in that regard. I'm sure we'll revisit that a time or two before this is all said and done. We've got to take a quick timeout. When we come back to the Gold One Center, are you buying the Kings' bad matchup theory? That's next year with Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's happening for the Chrysler's Wrap Up the Year sales event?
This month, you can save up to $16,500 off MSRP on 2023 Ram 1500 crew cabs. With over 600 new Ram trucks available, your perfect new truck is waiting for you at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. Plus, no payments for 90 days.
And what about those brand new Dodge Hornets everyone's talking about?
This month, you can lease a new 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid for only $199 a month for 27 months. That's over $5,500 in total savings.
Now's the best time to get the vehicle you need at Hoblet. Search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
16,500 total net savings after 10,261 factory rebates and 6,239 dealer discount. Sample VIN 699,991. Rebates include 1,000 case equipment cash. Must have purchased qualifying case equipment from authorized dealer and 500 first responder cash for members of eligible first responder association only. No payment for 90 days on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 5,500 total net savings after 2,000 factory rebates and 3,500 dealer discount. 27-month lease with $3,995 due at signing plus tax and license fees on approved credit through Ally Financial. 7,500 max miles per year, 25 cents per mile for excess miles. 20 of each net savings.
Some might call me obsessed, but if you shop for holiday gifts at Kohl's, you get it. With their friends and family sale, I got 25% off already great deals, like 40% off comfy Ted Gear activewear. Then I saved 30% on Lego building sets, 30% on cozy Kookaburra by UGG bedding, and earn Kohl's cash. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why I love Kohl's, and why you'll love it too. Select styles, Lego and Kookaburra by UGG. Coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. Offers end December 17th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone for the life of your garden. The 49ers keep on winning this holiday season, sporting a 5-game win streak since the bye week. San Francisco took care of Seattle in Week 14, 28-16. Quarterback Brock Purdy had a career high in passing yards last Sunday, throwing for 368 yards. The Red and Gold are now the first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot this season, currently holding the number 1 seed in the NFL.
Celebrating over a century as a family-owned business, EB Stone has gathered in valuable insights into nurturing plant growth. Venture into indoor planting with EB Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil. Watch your little plants flourish into ideal indoor companions for the whole family to relish during the holidays. EB Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is a meticulously crafted blend of essential ingredients. Your plants will thrive, both indoors and outdoors. Trust EB Stone for the entire lifespan of your garden. Explore more gardening tips, products, and find nearby locations at ebstone.org. Wishing you a season filled filled with joy and flourishing greenery.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Get ready tonight from the Golden One Center for the Kings to tip off the 6-game homestand against an OKC team that, just talked to a few people, talking to the G-Man a moment ago, and with good reason. And you're one of them, Kyle. People close to the Kings take this Thunder team very seriously.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Second best record in the West. You mentioned it, top 10 in offensive and defensive rating, number 1 in steals. They turn you over as well. And so, this is a good team. They shoot the three. They're a good team.
How about that? This is the second game in a row in which the Kings have faced the team with the top 3-point percentage in the league, even though they're facing a different team. Because the Nets had it Monday, right? They did. Yeah. And last I checked before the game, the Thunder right now are the top 3-point shooting team in the NBA. So that's two games in a row.
Yeah.
Hands up, right?
Hands
Get
up.
the hands up.
Hands up. Close out, right? You got to be able to close out.
Don't close out short.
These guys. Yeah, that's going to be something to keep an eye on tonight.
Mm-hmm. Here's a theory about the Kings and why they're having so many problems in certain situations. They're 1-9 versus Golden State, Houston, the Clippers, and the Pelicans.
Yep.
So great record against everybody else. Just bad matchups. That's the problem with the Kings. They've had bad matchups. We talked about a little bit earlier. Even if that's true, it's not very comforting, because if you've got 4 other teams in your conference that you can't match up with, you're in trouble.
Yes.
And it may not be true, but if it is true,
Right.
it's not something that would make you feel much better if you're a Kings fan.
But yes, you're 100% right, because that's 4 teams that potentially you'll see in the playoffs or will be vying for a playoff spot with. With that being said, you look at the other teams you've beaten in the Western Conference. If you're the Kings, you can hang your hat on. You beat Denver. You beat the Lakers. You beat OKC. You beat Minnesota.
Beat the Lakers here and there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so it goes back to what we've been saying with the inconsistency. It's like, all right, you have trouble with these 4 teams, yes, but the top of the top, the cream of the crop in the cream of the crop in the conference, you can handle. And so, who are you, Sacramento? What team are you? How serious and legit should we take the Kings?
You should never try to say cream of the crop in the conference when you're on cold medicine. And you pretty much, yeah. You got through it pretty well, but that's a tough one under any circumstances.
Dude, we got 22 minutes left. Not even that. I see the finish line ahead of me, man. I'm going to get an hour and a half break, and I'll be good to go for the game.
Yeah, because you got the play-by-play tonight, right?
Yeah. I got to rest these vocals, man, these pipes.
Yeah.
Gotta get ready.
We very much appreciate you playing hurt today. We appreciate it. Wouldn't know that you're not feeling tip-top. Let's hope the Kings are back to feeling tip-top, and let's hope not to single anybody out, but let's just, as you always say, keep it 100, call it as we see it. Let's hope Kevin Huerter makes some shots tonight.
What has gone on with Kevin Huerter? What has been up with him as of late? We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think him and Malik Monk are the litmus test for this team. And Kevin Huerter, 10 points over his last 3 games. Guy's averaging 3 points a game over his last three. Was 1 of 4 from 3 points against the Clippers. They need him to score the basketball. When he doesn't play well, this team doesn't play well. And so him and Malik, to me, they are the keys for this team because we know what De'Aaron's going to give us for the most part. Domas, even to an extent, Keegan Murray. But I think Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk take this team from good to a great team. And I don't know what's going on. I need to, pay extra special attention to his shot because something's off. This looks like how the season started. Remember, he struggled
right,
to start
exactly.
the season. Yeah.
We thought, okay, got through that.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, he struggled so much in the postseason. And it looks like, I haven't broken down film, but just paying attention, watching the games and trying to remember the shots he's getting. He's getting good looks still, right?
He's getting all his usual
the dribble
looks.
handoff, bonus, and
all his same looks. And I don't know if he's rushing it, it's coming off the wrong way or what, but he is struggling right now. 25% from 3 over his last 3 games. He has to hit shots for this team to win.
Mm-hmm. What else do you need to see from the Kings tonight? I would like to see him get out and play with a little bit of pace, especially against a OKC team that doesn't necessarily like to do that. I'd like to see him get out and run and push the tempo a little bit.
OKC a little more deliberate with their offense. I definitely want to see that. I think you got to obviously defend the 3. I think the battle of the 3 tonight is going to be key. OKC shooting 39.1%. They don't take a whole lot of them, no. And that's why I think the Kings, if you win the battle of the 3 in terms of that, numbers being made, that's a good sign. Now, if they hit more 3s than you, to me, that's a disaster, a recipe for disaster because they don't take a whole lot of them. And if they're making them, that means they're out shooting you from 3. You need it. Sacramento, let's just call it what it is. Doc Rivers said it's a make-miss league. The Kings need to make shots to win games. And so I need a big game from De'Aaron Fox. I need him and Shai Gilgeous to cancel each other out.
Do you think De'Aaron is the type that is aware of everything that's being said about Shai and that gives him a little extra?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Especially coming off of a bad game against the Clippers.
Yeah, De'Aaron, I don't want to say he reads everything or notices social media or what, but he knows who the top guards in the NBA are. He knows who's his competition for all NBA, for all-star bid. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Kentucky Wildcat, just like De'Aaron Fox. So these two guys very familiar with each other's game. I wouldn't be surprised to see De'Aaron come out and have a 37-piece tonight, something big like that tonight.
When we come right back, I've got some good news for Kings fans about this Thunder team. Also, haven't gotten your thoughts yet, Drapes, on whatever it was that went down with Giannis last night. So we have to address Giannis in the case of the missing basketball when we come right back and wrap things up here from the Golden One Center. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Catch the Kings tonight on Sactown Sports.
Monk starts left, goes right, up and down, move to the rack. Oh, what a drive to the basket.
It's the Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at 7 on your home for Sacramento Kings basketball. Sactown Sports.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports. De'Aaron
Kings are playing an Oklahoma City team that is off to a great start. The Thunder are, let's see, they're 6th in offensive rating, 6th in defensive rating. They're 3rd in net rating, and they're having a fine season here. Oklahoma City Thunder, here's the key to their fast start. And they got a good team, don't get me wrong. I love to watch them play, very talented. But one of the things they've done so far is they've gone 10-1 versus teams with losing records. So
they're feasting on.
Yes, which you have to do.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you want to be an
you beat the
overachieving
teams you're
team.
supposed to.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So they're 10-1 versus teams with losing records. Only one of their next 10 is against such a team. So that record might be, I don't know, might be a little overinflated. We'll see if the Kings can bring them back down to earth a little bit tonight, as they have, the last 7 times they've played them? 6, 7 times?
Sacramento. Let me pull it up. I got it right here. Sacramento has owned them recently. 7 straight against OKC. Longest active winning streak against any team. So I will say this: OKC 7-3 on the road, though. Best road record in the NBA. And so this is one where you got to put your hard hat on. I thought Domantas Sabonis owned Chet Holmgren last time these two teams played.
He did.
Chet, I think, is a rookie of the year candidate. Obviously him and Wembanyama, but what he's doing. So I expect a better effort from OKC tonight. They're going to remember what happened here a couple of weeks ago. And that was the first in-season tournament game for the Kings, too, if you remember. No De'Aaron Fox, and they still were able to get them. And so I think this OKC team, man, they are tough, too.
Is there a little extra edge to the Kings coming into this game knowing that, all right, we're fighting for position in the West, and this is a team that, in a way, is trying to do this year what we did last year, and we got to prevent them from doing that?
I don't think so. I see your logic and I see your point, and usually I'd say yes, but I think this team is so, confused is the wrong word. They're so trying to figure out who they are. They're worried more about themselves, let alone what's happening outside or who's coming in. Ooh, got to get up for OKC or anything like that. I think they got to fix their own house and clean up their own house before they worry about anybody else. And so OKC, Orlando, to me, those are the two teams sort of like Sacramento were a season ago, a young, hungry team. But if I'm a player, if I'm a coach, if I'm a fan, I'm looking at OKC and I'm thinking, man, who's that next team after Denver? And to me, it's a race. And right now, it seems like OKC's ahead of us. Minnesota's ahead of us. And so if I'm Monty McNair, I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to compete against the Denvers, the Lakers. I'm competing against these guys, OKC's, the Minnesotas, the younger teams out there.
Now, can you help us at all understand the etiquette involved in a situation like whatever happened last night between Indiana and the Bucks? And Giannis exchanged heated words with members of the Indiana staff, and he raced towards the Pacers locker room last night. Both teams, there was some sort of, no punches were thrown, but there was some sort of confrontation in the hallway in a dispute over the game ball following Giannis's 64-point victory. Milwaukee won 140-126, and then Giannis got into it with Tyrese Halliburton and other Pacers before he rushed from the court towards the visitors' locker room, and apparently he was trying to get that game ball. Do you know what the etiquette is on something like this?
Usually the home team, which was Milwaukee, is in control of the ball. The officials hand it to the scorer's table or whoever of the home team. And so I don't know how the ball got in possession of Indiana. Now if this was Indiana and they wanted to keep the ball for their young rookie, Oscar Tshiebwe, okay, I get it. But this was in Milwaukee. And so I'm still confused exactly what happened. And I don't know if you've seen the video. There's 2 videos going out around social media. One shows the Milwaukee Bucks staffer with the ball right after the game. Another shows the Pacers guy holding the ball after the game. And so I'm not sure what happened, but I think etiquette-wise, the home arena decides.
All right, so we had, and you mentioned Tshiebwe, and he made a free throw. So the Pacers are like, hey, it's his first points in the NBA, so we wanted to give him the ball. And Giannis, of course, wanted the ball because he scored 64. Although Giannis also said Did you hear that he said he wanted it for Dame?
No, he said that too?
Yeah. Let's see. I understand why they wanted, first point in the NBA, why you want that. But at the end of the day, you're talking about the guy that just skipped Kyle Korver in the all-time list. In my opinion, we should all stop what we're doing and appreciate greatness. So it's like he said, I wanted it for Dame. But then later, Giannis said he's not sure which ball he ended up with because Rick Carlisle said there's 2 game balls. We're good. But Giannis said, I have no idea. I'm not going to lie. I don't really know which ball I have. But he said he was going to give the ball to his, I think he said his mother.
Yeah, his mother.
Well, if you wanted the ball for Dame Lillard, why are you giving it to your mother?
I don't know. It's confusing. I want to take Giannis's side because 64, that's something, you know what? I understand wanting the game ball. But the whole Dame situation, and to the Pacers side too, I've never heard of somebody wanting the game ball for a rookie's first point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just doesn't. I mean, are we going to do that for every rookie in the league? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm confused. If I was Judge Judy right now and I was adjudicating it, I'd say, Giannis, you keep the ball. It's your ball.
All right. Judge Draper has spoken.
Judge Draper would say,
yeah.
Yes.
Giannis says the ball that I have, which I'll take and I'll give it to my mom for sure. But I don't know if it's actually, the game ball. I'm just a little surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be, that Giannis was that animated. And I would think that on the court, you could say, hey, we want that ball. Can somebody make sure we get that ball instead of him like sprinting back there?
Why did it
I want the ball.
that?
Give me my ball.
Yeah. Why did he have to take off like that? He was already on one, and you see him and Tyrese Halliburton get into it also. Like, I don't know what it is between those two franchises right now, but they were going at each other, and I need to look and see when they play again. But Giannis deserves the ball. Judge Draper has spoken. Giannis deserves the ball
more than Shibwe.
Yeah, dude, you get your. If it was at home, okay, you get the side, you get the ball. But this is in Milwaukee. I just dropped 64 on you. That's Giannis's ball.
For Giannis, it was the most points with fewer than 30 field goal attempts in a game. First player in NBA history to make at least 20 field goals and 20 free throws in a game while shooting at least 70% on each. So maybe his.
Did you
mom
see his how many
write that
free
on
throws
there.
he took too? What was it? He took like
32
free throws.
24 of 32 from the foul line.
That's like Wilt Chamberlain.
Right, yeah,
that's like unheard of.
Yeah. You're right. In his 100-point game, Chamberlain, I think.
32, right?
Terrible foul shooter. He's 28 of 32.
Yeah.
And he was a terrible foul shooter.
Exactly.
Made everything that night. Speaking of Halliburton, what can you tell us about this video going around of Andre Iguodala talking about Halliburton and the Kings?
Yeah.
Oh, did the Kings blow it by trading Halliburton?
Yeah, there's this video going around. Evan Turner had Andre Iguodala on his podcast, and they were talking about Tyrese Halliburton and how great Tyrese is and all that.
Which is true. Fair enough.
Great player. Yeah, he's playing great. And Iguodala says, I'm paraphrasing here. Yeah, and, Sacramento traded him. And didn't I just hear De'Aaron Fox turned down his 2-year extension? It was that Chris Haynes reported. And so they started laughing about that. And like, what, 54 million ain't enough for you, or 52 million a year ain't enough for you? And it was insinuating that, De'Aaron Fox may not want to be here. And so I just think there's so many people with podcasts, so much content out there that guys are saying things without actually thinking. And we all know why De'Aaron Fox turned that down. Not once has De'Aaron Fox ever said he didn't want to be in Sacramento. He turned that down because he's going to get a more lucrative offer maybe this offseason.
Right.
So
he could get a much more lucrative offer this offseason.
Exactly. And so for Andre Iguodala to say that's disingenuous. He knows the deal. And this is the guy who's head of the Players Association too, And so, that's what's going on around.
Yeah. So if you hear anything about that, nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fans that saw the reporting that Fox turns down extension. Like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
The King's like, hey, do us a favor and sign this. And he's like, we'll sign somebody. I ain't signing that.
Yeah. I ain't signing that.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. Are you worried about tonight's game?
Yeah.
You've asked everybody. You've asked me, man. You've asked me. I want to know, what's your level of concern about tonight?
Yes, I am concerned, but I just have a feeling it's going to be one of those nights when the Kings show up. So I feel like if I had to place a wager, which, who would do that? But if I had to make a prediction, I like the Kings tonight. I just think back home, and based on what we saw last time they played, we know that the Thunder, fine team, having a fine year, but I think there's a lot for the Kings to like about this matchup, especially, as you said, Holmgren and Sabonis.
Yeah. I think, what we've seen from Domas is he excels against thinner big.
Yeah.
Like if you're a meaty, girthy big, it's kind of tough for him. But he can push around Chet Holmgren and have his way, I think.
And as the G-Man pointed out, and as you know, and as Kings fans know, last time the Kings beat them, De'Aaron Fox didn't even play. Yeah. I'm not worried at all.
And I think Sabonis has a chip on his shoulder against these guys, right?
Yeah.
They traded him away for Paul George, and usually he has big games against them. So we'll see tonight.
Yeah. Well, make sure you check out Kyle Draper. He's got the call tonight on NBC Sports California. You can also, of course, hear the G-Man here on Sactown Sports. And stick around because we've got game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner coming your way next on Sactown Sports.